Welcome to a breathtaking expedition through the wonders of our planet. From the intricate, hidden architecture of the avian world and the ancient, resilient giants of the forest, to the massive steel titans that redefine our horizons, we are uncovering the most extraordinary sights ever documented. These are the places where nature's instinct meets human ambition in a dance of pure survival. Before we reveal these secrets, subscribe to our channel and join us on this global odyssey. Where in the world are you watching from today? Let the journey begin.
The sociable
Why
weaver
do these
constructs the
giant
largest
woven
communal
pendulums
nests of any
hang like
bird,
strange
massive
offerings
structures
from the
that can
highest
last for
branches
over a
of the
century.
rainforest? The Montezuma oropendola weaves elongated nests from vines and fibers, stretching up to 2 meters long, specifically to keep them out of reach of monkeys and snakes. These colonies are highly social, with dozens of nests swaying in unison from a single nursery tree. They look like giant golden teardrops suspended between the earth and the heavens. As the tropical storm approaches, the nests dance wildly in the wind. Do these woven chambers hold the dreams of the jungle, or are they traps for the restless spirits of the air? Found in the tropical forests of Asia and Africa, the hornbill possesses one of the most unique nesting behaviors in the biological world. The female seals herself inside a tree hollow using a paste of mud and fruit pulp, leaving only a tiny slit for the male to pass food through. This extreme isolation ensures the safety of the eggs from arboreal predators during the long incubation period. The bird's massive, hollow casque glows like a polished ivory helmet amidst the emerald canopy. This ritual is a testament to absolute trust and devotion. In many cultures, the hornbill is a sacred messenger of loyalty and sacrifice. Beware the iridescent blur of a creature that consumes its own weight in nectar just to keep its heart from stopping. The hummingbird constructs a cup-sized nest using spider silk, allowing the structure to expand elastically as the chicks grow. Their metabolism is so high, they must enter a state of torpor at night to survive the cold. The nest is a tiny velvet thimble encrusted with lichen, hidden like a mossy wart on a branch. Under the pale moon, the tiny bird sits as still as a frozen jewel. Is it sleeping, or is it hovering on the thin edge of death? Observe the John of the Mud in South America, an avian mason that builds with the precision of a trained architect. The Rufus hornero constructs an oven-shaped nest using thousands of pounds of mud and straw. The structure features a curved internal wall that creates a weather-resistant nesting chamber, protecting the eggs from rain and extreme heat. These solid clay domes sit atop fence posts like miniature sun-baked bread ovens. In the golden hour of the pampas, these earthen huts stand as monuments to survival. The locals revere them as icons of domestic peace and agricultural prosperity. Journey to the tropical canopies of Central America to witness the hanging cities of the Montezuma oropendola. These birds build pendulous nests that can reach 2 meters in length, woven from vines and fibers. They nest in large colonies on isolated trees to minimize the risk of monkey and snake predation, creating a fortress of height. The nests hang from the branches like giant, woven fruit or ancient, elongated baskets swaying in the humid breeze. As the mist rolls over the rainforest, the liquid calls of the colony echo through the valley. They represent the vibrant, unyielding pulse of the jungle's ancient hierarchy. In the wetlands of Africa, the hammerkop stands as an unparalleled avian architect. This species is famous for constructing the largest roofed nests in the bird world, utilizing over 10,000 sticks and various debris to create a structure that can weigh up to 50 kilograms. The nest is a complex fortress featuring 3 distinct internal chambers, meticulously designed to protect the brood from the elements and predators. These massive structures resemble ancient thatched bunkers perched high in the crooks of trees. Local communities often view the hammerkop as a bird of great wisdom, a silent keeper of the marsh's oldest legends. Why does this bird appear to walk upon the very mirror of the water without ever sinking into the depths? The African jacana possesses extremely elongated toes that distribute its weight over floating lily pads, a mechanical adaptation for marsh survival. They exhibit polyandry, where males provide all the parental care, including hiding chicks under their wings when danger nears. It looks like a long-legged specter gliding across a garden of floating green shields. As the orange sun dips below the horizon, the water remains unbroken by its step. How can a creature weigh so little while carrying the burden of its young? Witness the specialized biological machinery of the woodpecker, the forest's most dedicated structural excavator. These birds possess a reinforced skull and a chisel-like beak capable of striking wood with a force of 1,000 times gravity. Their long, barbed tongue is stored around the back of the skull to act as a shock absorber during drilling. They cling to vertical trunks like feathered hammers, leaving a trail of rhythmic holes in the bark. The echo of their hammering is the heartbeat of the old-growth forest. To the people of the woods, they are the healers who remove the rot to save the tree. Beware the immense, shaggy weight of the Kalahari's hanging cities. The sociable weaver constructs massive communal nests that can house over 100 families for more than a century, acting as a sophisticated thermal regulator against the desert's extreme temperatures. The structure is so heavy, it can occasionally collapse the very trees that support it, crushing everything beneath. It appears like a giant prehistoric haystack impaled on an acacia branch. Within its dark, hay-scented tunnels, deadly cobras wait in silence for a taste of the young. Is it a fortress of community, or a labyrinth where death hides in every shadow? Witness the delicate dance of the lily trotter across the mirrored surface of the marsh. The African jacana glides across the water's surface with toes so long they spread its weight like a prayer over floating lilies. It exists in a state of perpetual grace, walking where others sink, its movement as light as a whisper on glass. The father carries his chicks beneath his wings, a living shield of devotion in a world of predators. The golden light of the swamp reflects off its chestnut feathers, creating a vision of ethereal peace. This bird is a bridge between the air and the deep, a sacred guardian of the liquid mirror. Can one truly walk through life without leaving a ripple? Behold the golden threads of life woven into the fabric of the savanna. The southern masked weaver is a master of rhythm and form, weaving intricate orb-shaped nests from simple blades of grass and palm fibers. Each knot is a testament to the harmony between instinct and nature, hanging from the branches like a sun-kissed jewel. The bird works with a focused intensity, a golden flicker against the azure sky, crafting a home that is both a fortress and a work of art. The wind hums through the woven fibers, a soft melody of survival and grace. In the presence of such craft, we see the divine signature in every strand. Is this a nest or a poem written in straw? Behold the suspended heartbeat of the garden, a creature that lives between the seconds. The hummingbird is a shimmering fragment of the cosmos, hovering on the thin edge of existence with wings that beat faster than thought. It crafts a nest of spider silk and lichen, a cradle as soft as a cloud and as resilient as light itself. The bird is a tiny, iridescent priestess of the flowers, drinking the nectar of the earth to sustain its frantic fire. In its stillness, the world seems to pause, captivated by a beauty too fragile for the heavy hand of time. It is a reminder that the most profound strength often hides within the smallest frame. Does the spirit fly as fast as the wing? Observe the precision of the forest seamstress, a small bird with the skills of a master tailor. The tailor bird is a remarkable avian species found across South Asia, known for its unique nest-building technique. It uses its beak as a needle to pierce holes in the edges of a large leaf, then draws plant fibers or spider silk through to stitch the leaf into a cone. This biological engineering creates a secure, hidden pouch for its eggs. The process is a functional adaptation to hide from arboreal predators like snakes. These nests blend seamlessly into the green canopy. In rural villages, the bird's arrival is a seasonal marker of the monsoon's end, representing the quiet continuity of the natural world. Examine the domed citadels of the cleverest corvid, a bird that understands the value of a roof. The magpie is one of the most intelligent animals on Earth, capable of recognizing itself in a mirror. It builds large domed nests made of sticks, often reinforced with mud and lined with soft hair. The roof is a specialized feature designed to deter hawks and crows from stealing eggs. These birds are highly social and maintain complex hierarchies within their territories across the northern hemisphere. The nest is a functional fortress, strategically placed in the high branches of thorny trees. For centuries, farmers have observed these nests as indicators of a stable and healthy local ecosystem. The Kalahari Desert hosts one of nature's most sophisticated apartment complexes. The sociable weaver constructs massive communal structures that can span several meters and persist for over a century. These hay-like fortresses provide critical thermal insulation, maintaining a stable microclimate of 25 degrees Celsius, while external temperatures swing wildly between freezing nights and scorching days. Each family maintains a separate entrance on the underside to deter avian predators. These nests look like giant thatched umbrellas draped over the branches of ancient acacia trees. For the desert people, these structures are symbols of enduring heritage and the power of collective labor. Witness the precision of the flamingo, a bird that thrives in the world's most toxic alkaline lakes. To protect their offspring from corrosive waters, they construct tall, conical mounds made of sun-dried mud, reaching 30 centimeters high. These pedestals act as cooling towers, elevating the egg above the searing heat of the salt flats while providing a stable platform against rising tides. Their vibrant pink plumage is a direct result of carotenoid pigments filtered from brine shrimp. The nesting grounds look like thousands of pink flames flickering upon dark, muddy altars. In the high Andes, they are celebrated as the dancers of the sun, bringing life to the barren earth. Witness the marvel of avian engineering in the heart of the African savanna. These birds are not mere animals. They are biological master craftsmen. Utilizing intricate knots and specialized weaving techniques, they transform simple grass fibers into complex hanging structures designed to withstand the harshest winds. Each nest is a testament to biological precision, featuring a downward-facing entrance to thwart predators. The golden husks hang from acacia branches like delicate, living lanterns swaying in the breeze. In many local villages, these nests are seen as symbols of hard work and community, a reminder that unity builds the strongest home. In the marshlands of sub-Saharan Africa, the hammerkop constructs what scientists call the most over-engineered structure in the bird world. This medium-sized bird builds a massive nest consisting of over 10,000 sticks, often weighing more than 50 kilograms. The architecture is so robust that it can support the weight of a grown man, featuring a secret internal chamber accessed through a narrow, well-hidden tunnel. These structures appear like abandoned wooden fortresses, perched precariously over the water. There is a quiet pride among the locals who view the hammerkop as a sacred guardian of the river's ancient secrets. Observe engineering at its most microscopic scale within the forests of North America. The ruby-throated hummingbird constructs its nest using a miraculous blend of spider silk and lichen. The silk allows the nest to expand as the chicks grow, a biological mechanism that ensures maximum efficiency in a confined space. Measuring only 2 inches in diameter, the nest is perfectly camouflaged to mimic a knot on a tree branch. It resembles a tiny velvet thimble decorated with the forest's finest jewelry. For many, seeing this cradle is a sign of good fortune, representing the delicate yet resilient nature of life itself. Why would a predator choose to live in a structure that weighs as much as a small car? The bald eagle builds the largest nests of any North American bird, some reaching 3 meters in width and weighing nearly 2 tons. They return to the same site year after year, adding new layers of heavy branches and sod until the weight threatens to snap the supporting tree. The nest sits like a jagged, heavy crown atop a wooden throne, overlooking the vast wilderness. Be warned, to disturb this massive gravity-defying fortress is to invite the wrath of a symbol that refuses to be tamed. Do not venture too deep into the pitch-black limestone caves of Southeast Asia. This is the realm of the edible nest swiftlet, a creature that builds its home entirely from its own solidified saliva. In the complete absence of light, these birds use echolocation to navigate treacherous vertical walls. They glue their nest to the jagged stone, where any slip means certain death in the abyss below. The nests look like translucent white scars etched onto the cave's dark skin. Legend says these walls are cursed for those who seek the white gold without respect. One wrong step, and the cave swallows you forever. Why would a bird choose to dwell within the suffocating darkness of a subterranean tunnel rather than the open sky. In the vertical riverbanks of southern Europe, these vibrant hunters excavate burrows up to 2 meters deep. They are specialized aerial insectivores, masterfully neutralizing bee stings by striking the insect against a hard branch. The sandy banks appear riddled with holes, resembling a wall of earth scarred by 1,000 bullets. Shadows dance within these deep cavities, where the air is still and cold. Some say the wind whispers the names of the lost through these vents. Why do they hide where the sun never reaches? Never stand beneath these massive, shaggy structures during a desert storm, or you may be crushed under the weight of 1,000 lives. Found in the Kalahari, these are the largest communal nests in the world, housing up to 100 different bird families. The architecture functions as a sophisticated thermal regulator, trapping heat during freezing nights and maintaining cool air during the scorching day. They look like giant prehistoric haystacks that have fallen from the sky to be impaled by the branches of an acacia. Be warned, these hanging cities attract lethal cobras that slither through the dark chambers. Beware the silent rustle in the straw. Why does a bird labor to construct a literal island of stone in the center of a frozen Andean lake? The horned coot carries thousands of pebbles one by one, building a massive mound that can weigh several tons to protect its eggs from fluctuating water levels. This engineering feat creates a stable, artificial island in high-altitude environments where vegetation is scarce. The nest appears like a solitary, gray altar rising from the dark, icy depths of the water. Under the silver moonlight, these stone mounds look like ruins of a sunken civilization. Do the mountain spirits demand these offerings? Why build a fortress of rock? Why would a creature build its nursery on a floating platform designed to rot and sink? The little grebe constructs a nest of decaying aquatic vegetation that floats upon the marsh. The chemical process of rot generates natural heat, creating a biological furnace that incubates the eggs while the mother hunts. The nest looks like a messy pile of swamp debris drifting aimlessly across the stagnant surface. As the evening mist rises, the nest seems to pulsate with an unnatural, low warmth. What secrets are buried in the decaying muck beneath the eggs? Why does life choose to emerge from the heart of rot? Do not approach the suspicious green bundles hanging from the garden shrubs. The common tailor bird is a master of disguise, using its sharp beak as a needle to punch holes in the edges of living leaves. It pulls spider silk or plant fiber through these holes to sew the leaves together into a hollow, camouflaged cone. Within this hidden, humid pocket, the eggs are guarded against the eyes of snakes and predators. It looks like a green shroud stitched by an invisible hand. Under the pale moonlight, these stitched leaves look like the cocoons of a forest demon. Legend says the silk is harvested from the webs of the dead. Will you dare to touch the seam? The rhythmic hammering of the woodpecker is a feat of biological engineering, found in forests worldwide. These birds possess specialized skulls with spongy, shock-absorbing bone at the base of the beak to prevent brain injury during high-impact pecking. Their long tongues wrap around the brain to act as a safety belt while they strike wood 20 times per second. The bird grips the bark with zygodactyl feet, creating a stable tripod for excavation. In the dappled sunlight of the grove, the woodpecker's strike echoes like a rhythmic prayer. It is seen as the spirit of the woods keeping the rot at bay. Is it a builder or a gravedigger for the trees? The great hornbill is a heavy-set avian species found in the dense canopies of Southeast Asia, distinguished by its massive yellow and black casque. This hollow structure made of keratin acts as a signal of maturity and a resonating chamber for its loud calls. During the breeding season, the female utilizes a mixture of mud to wall herself into a tree cavity, remaining a prisoner for months, while the male provides food through a narrow slit. When the mist clears, the hornbill's casque glows like a forgotten golden crown. It is a symbol of a faith that can survive the dark. How much of yourself would you bury to keep your family safe? In the undergrowth of Australian rainforests, the male bowerbird functions as a sophisticated architect and curator. Unlike other birds, he builds bowers, elaborate walkways of sticks, specifically designed for courtship rather than nesting. He meticulously gathers objects, often sorting them by color, such as blueberries or shells, to decorate his display area. He even uses geometry, placing smaller objects closer to the entrance to create a forced perspective that enhances his appearance. As the twilight turns the forest blue, the bower's treasures sparkle like a thief's hoard. It is a shrine to the belief that beauty is as vital as breath. Does the artist build for love or for the ghost of perfection? Step cautiously into the Arfak Mountains, for you have stumbled upon a display of obsession that borders on the supernatural. The Vogelkop bowerbird builds a massive hut-like structure out of sticks, reaching over 1 meter in height, purely to lure a mate into his dark chamber. He decorates the entrance with meticulously sorted piles of orange fungi, blueberries, and the iridescent wings of dead beetles. It is an architecture of desire, where one misplaced leaf can ruin the entire performance. The bower resembles a witch's hut hidden deep within the humid moss. Be warned, legends say those who disturb the curator will find their own path lost in the shifting shadows. Why would a bird craft a home so soft and deceptive that it resembles a master thief's trick? The penduline tit weaves a hanging bag from willow down, sheep's wool, and spider silk, creating a structure so strong it can support the weight of an entire brood. To protect against snakes, the bird constructs a false entrance leading to an empty chamber, while the real entrance is hidden by a secret flap of felt. The nest swings like a fuzzy white pendulum suspended over the river's edge. Why go to such lengths to hide in plain sight? Local folklore whispers that nhung are ghost purses, where the wind hides its stolen treasures. Step into the suffocating darkness of a coastal cavern where the air tastes of salt and ancient decay. The edible nest, swiftlet, produces a unique protein-rich cement from its salivary glands to anchor nests to vertical rock faces. These birds navigate through absolute pitch blackness using high-frequency echolocation, a biological sonar system that allows them to thrive where no light reaches. The nests appear like pale, calcified ears growing out of the weeping stone walls. Beneath the cold moonlight, the caves echo with the clicks of unseen spirits. Are these truly homes, or are they the crystallized breaths of those lost to the sea? Beware the swaying gallows of the monsoon lands, where hundreds of woven chambers hang like warnings from the thorny palms. The bioweaver uses strips of grass to knit complex, retort-shaped nests featuring a long entrance tube designed specifically to prevent snakes from entering. A single nest requires over 500 trips to collect materials and hours of precision knotting. They resemble golden, teardrop-shaped pendulums suspended above the reaching jaws of predators. In the flickering lightning of a storm, these nests dance like the swaying souls of the forest. What happens to the weaver when the wind finally breaks the thread? Why do thousands of individuals sacrifice their identity to construct a geometric masterpiece of wax and sweat? Honeybees utilize the hexagon, the most efficient shape in geometry, to store the maximum amount of honey with the minimum amount of wax. This architectural hive is maintained at a constant temperature by the rhythmic fanning of wings, a feat of collective thermal regulation. The honeycomb appears like a shimmering, golden tapestry of perfect mathematical repetition. In the warm glow of the hive, the collective hum sounds like a single, vibrating heart. Is this a city of life, or a golden prison where no one is truly free? Do not trust the silence of the folded leaf, for within its stitched seams lies a secret nursery hidden from the light. The tailor bird uses its beak like a surgical needle, piercing holes in the leaf edges and drawing through strands of spider silk to create a living pouch. This biological engineering keeps the nest invisible to searching eyes, blending perfectly with the canopy. It looks like a green, emerald cocoon hanging precariously by a thread of ghost silk. When the shadows lengthen, the stitches seem to pulse with a hidden life. If the leaf dies, does the cradle become a shroud for the innocent? Why would a creature choose a life of eternal flight, never touching the earth for 10 months of the year? The common swift is a master of the upper atmosphere, eating, mating, and even sleeping while soaring. They only descend to build nests under rooftops using airborne debris and their own adhesive saliva. They appear like black, scythe-shaped shadows cutting through the clouds at terminal velocity. High above the city lights, they scream into the void of the night sky, their cries echoing against the stars. If they ever stop flying, will the world forget they ever existed? The bald eagle is the ultimate engineer of the North American skies, building massive eyries that serve as generational legacies. These nests are primarily constructed from large sticks and lined with moss or grass, often reaching dimensions of 3 meters in width and 2 tons in weight. As the pair returns annually to add more material, the structure grows into a gravity-defying monument of strength. The nest sits like a jagged, heavy crown atop the tallest pines, overlooking the vast wilderness. It is a symbol of unyielding power and continuity, representing the sharp, piercing gaze of a predator that never forgets its home. Why does this vibrant bird choose to construct its sanctuary upon the shifting, unstable surface of a swamp? The purple moorhen weaves a floating platform of reeds and aquatic plants, carefully anchored to underwater vegetation to prevent it from drifting away into the jaws of crocodiles. This engineering feat allows the bird to nest in deep water environments while keeping the eggs dry and elevated. The bird moves like a shimmering violet jewel, navigating a labyrinth of green lily pads. Be warned, the swamp hides many secrets beneath its dark mirrors. Is the moorhen a guardian of the marsh, or a lure for the unwary? Beware the vertical clay banks where the earth is riddled with 1,000 dark entrances. The European bee-eater is a master excavator, using its beak and feet to dig tunnels up to 2 meters deep into riverbanks. These birds are specialized hunters, capable of removing venomous stings from bees by striking them against hard surfaces before consumption. Their nesting colonies look like sun-scorched fortresses scarred by the impact of 1,000 miniature cannons. As the wind whistles through these deep cavities, it carries a ghostly hum. Legend says these holes are vents to the underworld. What spirits dwell in the shadows where the sun cannot reach? Why would a creature build a nursery that relies on the heat of decay to survive? The crested greba constructs a floating island of rotting vegetation, a biological furnace where the decomposition of plants generates the warmth necessary to incubate its eggs. This allows the parents to leave the nest briefly to perform their elegant, mirror-like courtship dances on the open water. The nest looks like a chaotic pile of lake debris drifting aimlessly on the silver surface. As the evening fog descends, the nest seems to pulse with an eerie, unnatural life. What happens if the water rises and the cradle becomes a grave? Listen to the frantic, rhythmic hammering that echoes like a heartbeat through the ancient wood. Woodpeckers are biological machines, equipped with shock-absorbing skulls and a tongue that wraps around their brain to protect it from the force of 20 strikes per second. They excavate deep cavities in living trees, providing essential housing for dozens of other forest species. The bird clings to the bark like a feathered hammer, its sharp beak a chisel of pure determination. These holes are the eyes of the forest, watching every movement in the dark. Be warned, to silence the drummer is to invite the rot to consume the entire grove. Why is this bird driven by a supernatural obsession with the color blue? The male satin bowerbird builds a complex bower of sticks and decorates it with blue feathers, berries, and even plastic scraps to attract a mate through visual perfection. He meticulously arranges these treasures, creating a gallery that highlights his status and artistic skill. The bower looks like a sapphire-encrusted altar, hidden deep within the Australian scrub. In the dim twilight, the blue objects glow with an otherworldly radiance. Legend says the bowerbird is a cursed artist seeking the perfect sky. Will his obsession ever be satisfied, or is he a slave to a blue ghost? Enter the forest gallery of the Arfak Mountains, where art is the only law. The Vogelkop bowerbird is a master architect of desire, constructing a conical hut of moss and twigs that serves as a cathedral of courtship. He meticulously arranges vivid treasures, orange fungi, iridescent beetle wings, and blueberries, into geometric displays of perfect symmetry. The bower is a silent sanctuary of color and intent, where beauty is the only currency. Beneath the mossy eaves, the bird waits like a hermit in deep meditation. It is a place where the soul of the forest finds its voice in silent art. Does the creator dream of perfection, or is he merely a vessel for the divine? Look upon the clay fortress of the ages, where the earth itself takes flight. The cliff swallow is a titan of architecture, building massive mud colonies that cling to the faces of sheer stone cliffs. Thousands of birds work in unison, molding the earth into gourd-shaped homes that stand as a singular, monumental wall of life. This is a city of clay, a testament to the power of collective will against the relentless erosion of time and wind. The sky is thick with their soaring forms, a grand ballet of survival that has echoed through the canyons for millennia. We are but shadows before the enduring legacy of this earthen empire. Will our cities remain as long as these walls of mud? Study the over-engineered bunkers of the marsh, built by a bird that refuses to compromise on safety. The hamerkop is a wading bird that constructs the largest roofed nests in the world, often spanning 1.5 meters in diameter. Built from a staggering 10,000 sticks and plastered with mud, these structures are strong enough to support the weight of a human. The interior contains 3 distinct rooms: a hall, a nursery, and a defensive chamber. This species is found throughout sub-Saharan Africa and is the sole member of its family. The nests are architectural marvels that endure for years, often being reused by owls. Local herdsmen view these structures as enduring landmarks of the riverbed. Why does this elegant phantom hide its nursery in the heart of decay? The great crested grebe builds a floating island of rotting weeds that drifts upon the surface of the lake. As the plants decompose, they release a steady, unnatural heat that incubates the eggs while the parents dive for fish. How can life flourish in a cradle of rot and rising swamp gases? The bird moves with a haunting elegance, its head crests rising like dark horns against the silver fog. The nest is a pile of muck that seems to pulsate with a low chemical fever. Does the lake provide for its children, or is the water slowly claiming the nest back into its depths? Beware the heavy shadow of the chimney dweller, for it brings more than just life. The white stork constructs massive stick nests atop chimneys and church steeples, some weighing over 500 kilograms. These structures are built from the debris of the fields, often including the bleached bones of small prey. Be warned, a nest this heavy can collapse a roof without a moment's notice, crushing those beneath its weight. These birds are silent hunters, their clattering beaks echoing like the rattling of dry bones in the night. Legends say the stork chooses which house will flourish and which will fall. Do not look up when the sky turns white with their wings. You might not like what they drop. How can a creature spend its entire life in the sky without ever touching the earth? The common swift is a biological anomaly, staying airborne for up to 10 months at a time. It eats, mates, and even sleeps while soaring through the atmosphere. These birds appear as black scythes cutting through the twilight at incredible speeds. In the quiet of the night, their high-pitched screams echo like ghosts trapped between the clouds. Why do they fear the solid ground? Legend says if a swift touches the earth, the world itself will stop turning, leaving us in eternal darkness. Why does a tree choose to drape itself in the ethereal color of mourning and royalty just as the summer heat begins to choke the earth? Jacaranda mimosifolia, native to South America, is a deciduous marvel that exhibits a unique biological timing. It sheds its feathery green foliage to erupt into a dense canopy of bell-shaped violet-blue flowers. This mechanism ensures that pollinators have an unobstructed view of the blooms, maximizing reproductive success. The tree stands like a violet cloud that has descended to rest upon the city streets, carpeting the ground in a soft lavender shroud. As the setting sun filters through the purple canopy, It creates a dreamlike, hazy light that feels disconnected from reality. Local students often call them exam trees, believing that if a petal falls on your head, you will find success. But does the purple rain wash away the stress of the living? Or is it a silent carpet for the ghosts of a forgotten spring? Do not let the delicate pink petals fool you, for they mark a season of fleeting existence, where beauty and death walk hand in hand through the mountain passes. Prunus cerulata, or the Japanese cherry blossom, is a biological masterpiece of synchronized blooming, triggered by a precise accumulation of chilling units, followed by a sudden rise in temperature. This short-lived phenomenon lasts only a week before the petals scatter in the wind. The trees appear like a sudden blizzard of pink snow that never melts, heavy and fragrant against the dark bark. Be warned, local legends whisper that the most vibrant pink blossoms grow over the resting places of fallen warriors, their lifeblood feeding the roots. Under the pale moonlight, the blossoms glow with a ghostly, translucent radiance. Why does nature choose to perfect its most beautiful creation only to let the wind tear it apart so cruelly? Is it a celebration of life or a warning of its inevitable end? Why does the landscape erupt into a violent, blood-red fire during the most scorching months of the year, defying the sun's attempts to wither the earth? Delonyx regia, native to the dry, deciduous forests of Madagascar, is a botanical giant characterized by its immense, spreading canopy and brilliant five-petaled flowers. It utilizes nitrogen-fixing bacteria in its root nodules to thrive in poor soils, turning barren land into a vibrant sanctuary. The tree looks like a massive crown of fire set upon a green-limbed titan, its scarlet blossoms visible from miles away. In the humid twilight, the red flowers seem to flicker like dying embers against the deepening blue of the sky. Local folklore often associates the tree with the bittersweet memories of youth and the pain of separation. If the tree burns so brightly without ever being consumed by the heat, what secret is it trying to whisper to the sun? Is it a symbol of passion or a monument to a fire that can never be put out? Beware the tree that strips its own skin to reveal a spectrum of neon colors that seem to belong to a hallucination rather than the natural world. Eucalyptus deglupta is the only eucalyptus species to thrive in the rainforests of the northern hemisphere, reaching heights of 75 meters. Its most disturbing feature is the constant exfoliation of its bark. As the outer layer dies and falls away, it reveals neon green inner bark that oxidizes into shades of blue, purple, orange, and maroon. The trunk looks like an abstract painting created by a mad god, a pillar of liquid light captured in wood. Be warned, local tribes believe the shifting colors are the fingerprints of forest spirits who paint the trees at night to mark their territory. In the dim, filtered light of the canopy, the trunk glows with an unnatural, prismatic radiance. Does the tree hide its true face because it is ashamed? Or is it showing us the deep, colorful scars of the earth itself? Why does a tree transform into a pillar of pure, blinding gold when the earth is at its most parched and desperate state? Tabebuia chrysantha, native to the dry forests of Central and South America, is a master of visual deception. It strategically drops every single one of its leaves before blooming, focusing all its biological energy into producing thousands of bright yellow trumpet-shaped flowers. This ensures that every pollinating insect in the region is drawn to its golden glow. The tree stands like a horde of sunbeams, trapped within wooden branches, a stark contrast to the gray, dusty landscape of the dry season. Under the midday sun, the golden aura is so intense it hurts the eyes to behold. Legend says the tree stores the wealth of the sun within its wood to protect it from the greedy. Is this golden display a generous gift to the barren earth? Or is it a lure designed to lead the unwary into a desert mirage? Do not venture into the shadow of these massive ground-crawling limbs after the sun has dipped below the horizon, for the darkness here has a physical weight that can crush the spirit. Located in South Carolina, this Quercus virginiana is estimated to be over 400 years old, with branches that stretch 187 feet from tip to tip. Its biological adaptation involves low-growth limbs that rest directly on the ground to provide stability against hurricane-force winds. The tree looks like a giant wooden octopus trying to pull itself back into the depths of the soil. Be warned. The moss-draped branches are said to hold the spirits of the ancestors, and the heavy silence beneath the canopy is often broken by the sound of invisible chains. In the deep, green shadows, the light never truly reaches the center. Are the branches reaching out to embrace you, or are they desperately trying to hold the sky from falling? Why does the bark of the silver birch glow with a ghostly, bone-white light in the heart of a pitch-black forest, watching you with 1,000 unblinking eyes? Betula pendula is a cold, hardy species that contains high concentrations of betulin, a white pigment that reflects ultraviolet light to prevent the trunk from overheating and cracking during freezing winters. The dark, horizontal lenticels on the white bark resemble human eyes scattered across a skeletal frame. The forest looks like a gathering of pale, thin sentinels pointing their frozen fingers toward the moon. Local folklore warns that the Lady of the Woods uses these trees to spy on those who enter her realm without permission. In the silver shimmer of a winter night, the trees seem to move when you are not looking. Does the white bark protect the tree from the cold? Or is it a beacon designed to lure the lost deeper into the freezing dark? Observe the biological phenomenon of cauliflory, where life erupts directly from the ancient, scarred wood of the trunk itself in a display of raw, unyielding vitality. Cercius siliquastrum, native to the Mediterranean, possesses specialized dormant buds within its thick bark that allow flowers to bloom along the main branches and trunk rather than on new shoots. This strategy allows the tree to attract ground-level pollinators and support the weight of heavy seed pods. The tree looks like 1,000 pink wounds opening simultaneously upon a dark, twisted body, a vision of beauty born from trauma. In the quiet of the morning, the rosy luminescence of the flowers creates an atmosphere of somber elegance. Local pride in this tree is rooted in its ancient history, being a staple of Mediterranean landscapes for millennia. It stands as a scientific testament to the idea that life can emerge from the oldest, most hardened parts of our existence. Witness the architectural triumph of the Ashikaga Flower Park, where a single Wisteria floribunda has been meticulously trained to support a canopy covering over 1,000 square meters. This great wisteria, over 150 years old, requires a massive framework of steel poles to support the immense weight of its woody vines and cascading flower racemes. These racemes can reach up to 80 centimeters in length, creating a dense ceiling of violet and pink. The tree looks like a purple waterfall frozen in midair, a liquid landscape of fragrance and color that defies the vertical limits of nature. As the evening lights illuminate the canopy, the violet glow reflects off the surrounding ponds, creating a world of endless purple horizons. This tree is a national treasure of Japan, a symbol of human patience and the grand scale of natural endurance. It serves as a reminder that with enough time and care, a single life can shade an entire world. Study the Dracaena draco, a monocotyledonous tree that defies standard botanical growth patterns to survive on the harsh, volcanic slopes of the Canary Islands. Unlike most trees, it does not produce annual growth rings. Instead, its age is estimated by the frequency of its branching, which occurs only after it flowers every 10 to 15 years. The tree produces a thick, crimson resin known as dragon's blood, which contains high levels of antioxidant phenols. Visually, it resembles a giant prehistoric mushroom or an umbrella of green swords reaching for the clouds. The red resin, when oxidized, glows like amber fire in the cracks of its scaly bark. Local proverbs state that the blood of the dragon protects the land from the salt of the sea. It stands as a silent sentinel of the Atlantic, a scientific relic from a lost era when the Earth was still cooling from its fiery birth. What ancient memories are stored in the crimson sap of this volcanic survivor? Observe the Fagus crenata, the backbone of Japan's cool temperate forests, known for its remarkably smooth, blue-gray bark. This species is a scientific marvel of symbiotic endurance, relying on complex mycorrhizal networks in the volcanic soil to share nutrients across the grove. The tree produces nutrient-rich beech nuts, or buna, which serve as a critical primary food source for black bears and avian populations. Its distinctive canopy creates a dense, cooling shade that regulates the microclimate of the forest floor, preventing soil erosion on steep mountain slopes. Visually, the trunk appears as a sleek, silver-blue pillar rising through the mountain mist, often dappled with intricate patterns of pale green lichen. To the people of the Japanese Alps, these trees are the sovereigns of the water, revered for their ability to store massive quantities of rainwater in the soil. They stand as a symbol of regional ecological pride and ancient forest wisdom. Examine the Adansonia digitata, a biological titan that has mastered the art of survival in the aridest regions of sub-Saharan Africa. This prehistoric species is unique for its massive, succulent trunk, which can store up to 120,000 liters of water to mitigate the effects of extreme drought. Scientists have identified specimens that have lived for over 2,500 years, making them some of the oldest angiosperms on the planet. The tree's bark is fire-resistant and possesses the rare ability to regenerate after being stripped. It looks like a colossal earthen jar impaled by gnarled roots reaching toward the heavens, earning it the nickname the upside-down tree. Its hollowed trunks have historically served as shelters, post offices, and even reservoirs for local communities. For many African nations, the baobab is the tree of life, a sacred monument representing the unyielding resilience of the continent and the deep ancestral connection to the earth. Study the Taxodium distichum, a deciduous conifer that thrives in the saturated, oxygen-poor soils of the American South swamplands. Its most fascinating biological adaptation is the cypress knee, woody projections called pneumatophores that grow upward from the roots to assist in gas exchange and provide structural stability in the soft muck. The wood is saturated with cypressine, a natural oil that makes the tree nearly impervious to rot and insect infestation, even when submerged for centuries. The tree features a heavily buttressed base and feathery foliage that turns a brilliant copper in autumn. It looks like a ghostly, ancient sentinel rising from the dark, still waters, surrounded by a crowd of wooden gnomes peeking through the Spanish moss. In Louisiana and Florida, these trees are celebrated as the guardians of the bayou, representing a unique heritage of aquatic endurance. They stand as a scientific testament to life's ability to find footing in the shifting depths. Beware the emerald labyrinth of the Central Highlands, for these deceptively beautiful hills are built on a history of relentless labor and chemical defense. Camellia sinensis is a hardy evergreen shrub that thrives in acidic soils and high altitudes, producing caffeine as a potent natural pesticide to paralyze attacking insects. The plants are kept in a state of perpetual forced youth through constant pruning, creating a dense, flat canopy that hides the jagged, woody stems beneath. The landscape looks like a series of vibrant green scars carved into the mountainside, a geometric maze of undulating velvet. Be warned, local legends whisper of the tea spirits who demand the sweat of the pickers. Those who wander off the narrow paths are said to be swallowed by the silent, humid green. Under the morning mist, the hills hum with a cold, industrial energy. Is this a garden of refreshment or a mountain bound by emerald chains? Why does this tree of happiness choose to fold its leaves and sleep the moment the sun vanishes, as if terrified of what the night might hold? Albizia julibrissin exhibits a biological phenomenon called nyctinisty, where its bipinnate leaves close at night to conserve moisture and protect its delicate reproductive organs. It produces spectacular pom-pom-like flowers, consisting of thousands of silky pink stamens that release a heavy, intoxicating scent to attract nocturnal pollinators. The tree looks like a pink, feathery cloud suspended over a dark, fern-like base, swaying rhythmically in the evening breeze. Rumors among local gardeners suggest that the tree weeps for the lost sun, and to sleep beneath its canopy is to invite dreams of a life you never lived. Does it hide its leaves to save itself? Or is it a silent witness to something in the dark that we cannot see? Why must beauty always be so fearful of the shadows? Witness the pinnacle of modern structural engineering at Marina Bay Sands, an integrated resort that has redefined the skyline of Singapore. The complex consists of three 55-story towers connected at the summit by the Sky Park, a 340-meter-long cantilevered platform that is the largest of its kind in the world. The towers are built with a unique inclined design, leaning at angles of up to 26 degrees during construction before being bridged together for stability. This architectural marvel features advanced seismic dampers to withstand tropical tremors and high-velocity winds. Visually, it resembles a massive, futuristic ship resting atop 3 stone pillars, sailing through the clouds above the bay. To the people of Singapore, this structure is a symbol of national prosperity and a testament to the city's transformation into a global hub of innovation. It stands as a precise mathematical victory over the limits of gravity and coastal geography. Observe the sun altar of the Gobi Desert, a massive renewable energy facility that utilizes concentrated solar power to generate 100 megawatts of electricity. The plant features 12,000 heliostats, giant mirrors that track the sun with surgical precision to reflect light onto a 260-meter-high central heat absorption tower. This system uses molten salt as a thermal storage medium, allowing the station to continue generating power for up to 11 hours even after the sun has set. The facility looks like a colossal, shimmering eye of polished glass, or a sea of silver scales surrounding a pillar of blinding white fire. In the Gansu province, this station is hailed as a monument to China's commitment to a carbon-neutral future. It represents a strategic triumph of technology over one of the harshest environments on Earth, turning the scorched desert sands into a source of infinite liquid light. Rising to a staggering height of 678.9 meters, Merdeka 118 is currently the second tallest building in the world and a landmark of Southeast Asian engineering. The tower's design is inspired by the silhouette of Malaysia's first prime minister during the Declaration of Independence, featuring a faceted glass facade composed of diamond-shaped panels. The structure utilizes a high-performance concrete core and a complex system of outriggers to maintain rigidity at extreme altitudes. It houses a blend of premium office space, luxury retail, and the highest observation deck in the region. The building looks like a colossal crystalline shard of ice piercing the tropical atmosphere, reflecting the vibrant colors of Kuala Lumpur. For Malaysians, the tower is a proud symbol of Merdeka, independence, and a bold statement of the nation's soaring economic ambitions. It stands as a shimmering bridge between the country's rich history and its vertical high-tech future. Why would mankind dare to thread a needle of steel across a 600-meter deep abyss where the wind screams with the force of a hurricane, set to become the world's highest bridge upon completion? The Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge in Guizhou spans a terrifying void, supported by 2 massive towers that anchor the suspension cables into the limestone cliffs. The engineering requires specialized wind-resistant trusses to prevent the deck from oscillating in the violent canyon drafts. The bridge looks like a thin, silver thread suspended between 2 mountain gods, disappearing into the swirling white mists of the canyon. Be warned, the locals believe the canyon is a dragon's throat that hates the intrusion of iron. Why build where the earth is so clearly split in two? Is it a path to progress, or a fragile tightrope over a mouth that is waiting to swallow the sun? Does the bridge connect the land, or does it merely provoke the heights? Beware the staggering weight of the Yangtze, for this concrete titan holds back a reservoir so massive it has literally slowed the rotation of the Earth. The Three Gorges Dam is the world's largest hydroelectric power station, a 2.3-kilometer-long wall of reinforced concrete that generates 22,500 megawatts of power. To build it, over 1 million people were displaced, and entire ancient cities were drowned beneath hundreds of feet of water. The dam looks like a gray, unyielding mountain of stone, its spillways roaring like 1,000 thunderclaps when the floodgates open. Be warned, the dark waters of the reservoir hide the ruins of a lost world, and some say the pressure of the water is awakening old spirits in the fault lines. Under the heavy industrial fog, the structure feels like a cold, ticking heart of a man-made god. Will the concrete hold forever, or is the river merely biding its time to reclaim its path? How can a wall stretching 36 kilometers across the rugged Aravalli Range remain largely forgotten by the world outside India? Often called the Great Wall of India, these massive fortifications surround the ancient Kumbhalgarh fort. The walls are over 15 meters thick at the base and were meticulously constructed in the 15th century by Rana Kumbha. They were designed to protect over 360 temples within the fortress, surviving centuries of regional conflict. The structure looks like a giant stone serpent coiled around the peaks of the mountains, its scales made of weathered granite and history. Under the orange hue of the setting sun, the stones seem to pulse with the echoes of ancient battles. Be warned, local whispers claim the shadows of the wall hide the spirits of those who sacrificed their lives to build it. Why did it take a century to build a wall that the world chose to forget? Do not get lost in the sprawling, organic labyrinth of the world's largest single-terminal airport building. Designed by the legendary Zaha Hadid, Daxing International Airport covers a staggering 700,000 square meters. Its revolutionary starfish design ensures that no gate is more than an 8-minute walk from the central security hub, optimizing passenger flow at an unprecedented scale. The roof is supported by massive C-shaped columns that flood the interior with natural light, creating a seamless connection between the sky and the ground. It resembles a colossal, golden alien organism that has landed in the middle of a vast, dusty plain. Be warned, the vast, echoing halls can distort your sense of direction, making you feel like a tiny cell moving inside a giant living lung. Is this a mere transport hub, or is it a gateway to a dimension that never sleeps? How can a skyscraper be built horizontally across the tips of 4 other massive towers, defying the vertical limits of urban design? This horizontal skyscraper, known as the Crystal, is 300 meters long and sits 250 meters above the ground in the heart of Chongqing. It weighs 12,000 tons and was hoisted into place using advanced hydraulic strand jacks, a feat of precision engineering. The complex includes residential units, luxury offices, and a sky bridge garden that offers a 360-degree view of the Yangtze River. It looks like a futuristic glass ship sailing through the humid clouds of a megacity. As the city lights flicker below, the sky bridge glows like a neon bar in a cyberpunk dream. Why do we seek to live in the sky when the Earth is still so vast? Is the horizon the only boundary left for our soaring ambition? Beware the sheer, staggering weight of a floating city that carries 7,600 souls across the unpredictable depths of the Atlantic. The Icon of the Seas is the world's largest cruise ship, weighing 250,800 gross tons and stretching 365 meters in length. It features a massive glass dome called the Aqua Dome and the largest water park ever built at sea, powered by 6 dual-fuel engines. The engineering required to balance such top-heavy luxury in high seas is a miracle of modern naval architecture. It resembles a neon-colored mountain of steel and glass drifting slowly over the dark abyss. Be warned, the black waters beneath the hull hold the memories of every ship the ocean chose to keep forever. If the power fails, will the luxury save you from the silent cold pressure of the deep? Does the ship conquer the ocean, or is it just a guest? Why did man decide to reshape the very coastline of the Persian Gulf into the shape of a massive artificial palm tree? Palm Jumeirah is a man-made archipelago created using 94 million cubic meters of sand and 7 million tons of rock, adding 520 kilometers of coastline to Dubai. The crescent-shaped breakwater protects the fronds from erosion and massive storm surges, utilizing a specialized geotextile layer to maintain structural integrity. From space, it looks like a golden tattoo etched into the turquoise skin of the ocean. In the shimmering heat haze, the luxury villas look like a mirage that might vanish back into the sea at any moment. Will the tides eventually reclaim what the sand has borrowed from the abyss? Some say the island is a testament to ego, a golden cage built on the shifting floor of a desert sea. Do not stand too close to the edge of this concrete monolith, for the roar of the Colorado River is a hunger that never dies. Standing 216 meters high, this arch-gravity dam creates Lake Powell, the second largest man-made reservoir in the United States. It contains over 3.7 million cubic meters of concrete anchored into the Navajo sandstone to withstand the immense pressure of the water. The dam provides hydroelectric power to millions, yet its construction forever altered the ecology of the Grand Canyon. It looks like a giant, gray plug wedged into the red rock throat of the desert. Be warned, the deep, cold water behind the dam has buried sacred lands and ancient spirits that were never meant to be drowned. Some say the pressure of the reservoir is slowly cracking the very earth it rests upon. Is this a source of life or a ticking clock? How can a single rotating wheel lift 2 massive canal boats 24 meters into the air, using only the energy of 8 boiling kettles? The Falkirk Wheel in Scotland is the world's only rotating boat lift, connecting the Forth and Clyde Canal with the Union Canal. It operates on Archimedes' principle of displacement, meaning the wheel is always perfectly balanced because the weight of the water displaced by a boat is equal to the boat's own weight. It looks like a giant futuristic axe blade or a pair of bird beaks spinning in slow motion against the green hills. Under the pale Scottish mist, the steel arms turn with a silent mechanical grace. Why did it take centuries to solve a vertical water problem with such a simple spinning circle? Local legends say the wheel is a bridge between the industrial past and a ghostly mechanical future. Spanning a staggering distance of 42.5 kilometers, the Qingdao Jiaozhou Bay Bridge is a masterclass in maritime civil engineering and regional connectivity. Completed in 2011, it features over 5,000 concrete pillars and consumed 450,000 tons of steel, enough to build 65 Eiffel Towers. The bridge is scientifically designed to withstand magnitude 8.0 earthquakes and direct impacts from 300,000-ton vessels, ensuring the safety of thousands of daily commuters. It appears as a long, white spine of steel stretching across the gray, misty expanse of the East China Sea. The local engineers and residents view this structure as a bridge of prosperity, a symbol of the city's maritime heritage and industrial strength. A local proverb says that a bridge built on honesty will never be moved by the tide. It stands as a testament to the power of human collaboration in the face of the unforgiving ocean. Witness the intersection of high-altitude physics and architectural daring at the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge, a structure that challenges the limits of human fear. This pedestrian bridge spans 430 meters and hangs 300 meters above the jagged canyon floor in the heart of Hunan Province. It is composed of 99 panes of triple-layered tempered glass, each 2 inches thick, tested to withstand the weight of hundreds of visitors simultaneously. The bridge is equipped with giant glass-filled balls to dampen wind vibrations, ensuring structural stability during the violent mountain drafts. It looks like a transparent, frozen river suspended between 2 ancient mountain peaks. To the local people, this bridge is a glass ribbon connecting the heavens and the earth, showcasing the region's leap into the future of extreme tourism. It is a source of immense local pride, reflecting the unyielding spirit of the mountain dwellers. Standing 301 meters tall in the city of Suzhou, the gate to the east is a striking example of modern skyscraper design inspired by traditional Chinese aesthetics. The building features 2 tapering towers connected at the summit by a 3,000-ton steel arch, creating a silhouette that resembles a traditional garden gate. Its glass facade covers over 100,000 square meters and utilizes low emissivity glass to reduce the building's thermal footprint in the humid climate. It looks like a colossal pair of silver trousers or a futuristic portal standing at the edge of the Jinji Lake. For the residents of Suzhou, the gate represents the city's opening to the global economy and its transformation into a high-tech hub. It is a monument to the perfect balance between ancient heritage and soaring urban development, a symbol of a city that honors its past while reaching for the stars. Located on the Yangtze River in Hubei Province, the Three Gorges Dam stands as a monumental feat of hydraulic engineering. This gravity dam is constructed from 27 million cubic meters of concrete and reaches a height of 181 meters, stretching 2.3 kilometers across the river's width. It houses 32 main turbines, generating a staggering 22,500 megawatts of electricity, making it the world's largest power station by installed capacity. The dam functions as a critical tool for flood control and navigation, lifting massive cargo ships through a sophisticated 5-tier lock system. Visually, it resembles a gray, unyielding mountain of stone that has tamed one of the world's most powerful rivers. Local residents view the dam with immense pride, seeing it as a symbol of China's ability to harness the forces of nature for national progress. A common local saying reminds us that even the fiercest river must eventually bow to the will of the people. Qingdao Jiaodong International Airport is a premier aviation hub in East China, designed to handle up to 35 million passengers annually. The terminal architecture is mathematically precise, featuring a unique starfish configuration with 5 distinct concourses radiating from a central core. This layout is a masterpiece of efficiency, ensuring that the walking distance between the main security check and the farthest boarding gate does not exceed 550 meters. The terminal roof is composed of thousands of stainless steel panels, reflecting the coastal sunlight with surgical brilliance. It looks like a colossal silver celestial body that has landed on the outskirts of Qingdao. For the people of Shandong, the airport is a source of regional pride, representing the city's role as a gateway to the world. Local officials emphasize that this structure is the Star of the Orient, guiding travelers with the precision of the constellations above. The Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link is a breathtaking cross-sea infrastructure project that integrates a series of bridges, artificial islands, and the world's widest undersea tube tunnel. Stretching 24 kilometers across the Pearl River Delta, it utilizes 8 lanes of traffic to reduce travel time between the two cities from 2 hours to just 30 minutes. The engineering requires the deployment of massive 80,000-ton steel pipe sections, sunk onto the seabed with millimeter precision. The link appears as a silver thread of human ambition stitching together the vibrant cities of the Bay Area. In the coastal regions of Guangdong, this project is hailed as a golden bridge of prosperity, a testament to the nation's unyielding pursuit of connectivity and economic integration. It stands as a modern wonder, proving that even the depths of the ocean cannot hinder the march of human progress. Local pride shines through the belief that the sea is no longer a barrier, but a path. Why did the architects choose to build a structure that loops into itself, creating a path that never truly begins or ends? Designed by the world-renowned Zaha Hadid architects, Infinitus Plaza in Guangzhou is a biological-inspired office complex consisting of 2 buildings connected by multiple sky bridges in the shape of an infinity symbol. The design promotes interconnectedness and continuous movement, featuring high-performance glass facades that maximize natural light while reducing heat gain. It looks like a flowing, white silk ribbon frozen in midair amidst the dense urban canopy. Be warned, the local legends suggest that the geometry of the plaza can distort one's sense of time, making an hour feel like a mere heartbeat. Many visitors claim to feel a strange, looping energy within the halls. If you enter the cycle of the infinity, will you ever find the exit? Or are you doomed to repeat your journey forever? Do not look down as you traverse the sky road, for the clouds are often the only thing between you and the jagged earth thousands of feet below. The Yaxi Expressway in Sichuan Province is one of the most dangerous and spectacular engineering projects in the world, climbing from an altitude of 600 meters to over 2,500 meters. It features 270 bridges and 25 tunnels, crossing multiple seismically active fault lines and treacherous mountain terrain. The expressway resembles a giant gray dragon coiling around the sheer limestone peaks, disappearing into the thick, freezing mountain mist. Be warned, the local drivers whisper that the mist is the breath of mountain spirits who are displeased by the intrusion of steel. Sudden landslides and blinding fogs can turn this path into a nightmare in seconds. Legends say the Sky Road demands a heavy toll from those who do not respect the mountain's silence. Will the asphalt hold, or will the dragon shake you off? Why would mankind spend $18 billion to build a 55-kilometer bridge across the treacherous, typhoon-prone waters of the South China Sea? This megastructure is the world's longest sea-crossing bridge, constructed with 400,000 tons of steel and designed to withstand magnitude 8.0 earthquakes and super typhoons. It includes a 6.7-kilometer undersea tunnel and 4 artificial islands, a feat of maritime engineering that defies the limits of the deep. The bridge appears like a long white bone snake resting on the blue skin of the ocean, stretching toward the horizon until it vanishes into the sea. Be warned, fishermen in the Pearl River Delta claim the bridge hums a mournful, metallic song during the storms. Some say the bridge has disturbed the ancient dragons of the Delta, and they are wading beneath the waves to reclaim their territory. Why bridge the gap when the sea is clearly meant to divide? Do not enter the swirling white halls of the Harbin Opera House after the sun sets, for the architecture looks like a frozen tomb waiting for a soul. Located in the icy wetlands of northern China, this 79,000 square meter landmark features a white aluminum facade that mimics the curves of a snowdrift. The interior is lined with Manchurian ash wood, creating a warm contrast to the cold, crystalline exterior. It resembles a massive, swirling blizzard that has been suddenly petrified by the touch of a winter god. Be warned, local staff tell stories of a spectral music that echoes through the empty theaters when the lights go out. Some say the building was carved from the frozen breath of a titan, and it longs to return to the ice. Under the pale Harbin moon, the structure glows with a ghostly, unnatural radiance. Is the building a sanctuary for art, or a trap made of snow? Why does this road spiral upward in 3 massive layers, forcing travelers to drive in circles as they ascend to the heavens? The Tianlong Mountain Highway in Shanxi Province features a spectacular 3-layer spiral bridge that rises 350 meters over a short distance to overcome the steep mountain slope. The engineering allows for a gentle incline, making the treacherous climb accessible to all vehicles. Visually, it looks like a giant wooden-colored roller coaster or a spiraling silk belt draped over the ancient green mountainside. Be warned, the locals believe that driving the spiral is a ritual of purification, and those with a heavy heart will become dizzy and lost within the loops. The turns are so sharp and the heights so dizzying that the world seems to spin around you. Why must we climb in circles just to touch the peak? Are we moving forward, or are we trapped in an eternal spiral? Beware the sheer 565-meter drop into the abyss, for the Beipanjiang Bridge hangs over a canyon so deep that the river below looks like a thin, silver needle. Known as the world's highest bridge, this cable-stayed structure spans the Duge Canyon, connecting the provinces of Guizhou and Yunnan. The bridge's steel trusses are designed to withstand the violent, unpredictable winds that whip through the narrow mountain gap. It looks like a high-altitude throne of steel, its red towers piercing the clouds like the horns of a prehistoric beast. Be warned, some say The wind in the canyon carries the screams of those who fell during the construction. The height is so extreme that the birds often fly beneath the road deck. Legend says the canyon is a gate of the earth that does not want to be bridged. If you look into the void for too long, will the abyss look back? Why do these white, three-armed giants never stop their slow, rhythmic dance along the coast of Mulan Bay? These modern wind turbines are part of Hainan's massive offshore renewable energy project, standing over 100 meters tall, with blades that sweep across a vast area of the sky. They utilize the powerful, constant sea breezes to generate clean electricity for millions of homes. The turbines look like a line of silent alien sentinels standing on the edge of the world, their white arms turning in a hypnotic, mechanical prayer. Be warned. Locals say the rhythmic hum of the blades can drive a person to madness if they listen for too long. Some believe the turbines are not just machines, but totems designed to calm the restless spirits of the ocean storms. Why do they turn even when there is no wind to be felt? Is the sky moving them, or are they moving the sky? Rising 261 meters above the Macau skyline, the Grand Lisboa is a masterpiece of modern structural expressionism. This iconic skyscraper, designed by architects Dennis Lau and Ng Chun Man, features a bold silhouette inspired by a blossoming lotus, the floral symbol of Macau. The building's podium is a massive spherical structure covered in 1.2 million programmable LED lights, creating a high-tech spectacle that consumes vast amounts of energy to illuminate the city's gambling district. Scientifically, the tower utilizes a reinforced concrete core and a sophisticated glass curtain wall system to withstand the frequent typhoons of the South China Sea. It looks like a giant golden flame or an exotic shimmering flower emerging from a bed of jewels. For the people of Macau, the Grand Lisboa is a source of immense pride, representing the city's transformation into the Las Vegas of Asia. It stands as a golden monument to luck and prosperity. The Xiaolangdi Dam is a critical hydraulic project located on the Yellow River in Henan Province, designed to solve the ancient problem of silt accumulation. This massive rock-filled dam stands 154 meters high and spans 1,117 meters across the river valley. Its primary scientific function is silt flushing, a process where massive amounts of water are released through specialized tunnels to wash away millions of tons of sediment that threaten to raise the riverbed. The project, which cost 1.26 billion USD, involved the relocation of 180,000 people and the construction of 10 massive flood discharge tunnels. When the gates open, the water erupts like a roaring mud-colored dragon, creating a spectacular artificial waterfall that shakes the earth for miles. To the local residents, the dam is a heroic guardian of the plains, a testament to China's engineering ability to tame the Mother River. It represents a historic victory over the relentless forces of nature. Stretching 522 kilometers across the Sea of Death, the Tarim Desert Highway is the world's longest road built across shifting sand dunes. To prevent the Taklamakan Desert from swallowing the asphalt, engineers implemented a massive biological sand fixation project, planting a 70-meter-wide vegetation belt along both sides of the road. This system is supported by a sophisticated drip irrigation network, that taps into deep underground aquifers, utilizing over 100 pumping stations. The road appears like a thin, black ribbon stitched into a vast, undulating ocean of golden silk. Scientifically, the highway is protected by reed fences and straw checkerboards that reduce wind velocity and stabilize the dunes. For the people of Xinjiang, this highway is a vital lifeline of commerce and a symbol of human endurance against the most hostile environment on Earth. It is a living proof that even the driest sands can be conquered by the persistent flow of water and will. Do not venture into the winding glass loops of the Oppo Chang'an R&D Center, for you may find yourself trapped in a futuristic maze where the walls seem to observe your every move. This 249-meter-tall complex in Dongguan consists of 4 vertical towers interconnected by sky bridges and a fluid, organic podium. The architecture utilizes a looping geometry designed to foster high-speed collaboration and technological innovation. Scientifically, the facade is composed of high-performance curved glass that regulates thermal energy while providing a 360-degree view of the high-tech hub. It resembles a series of giant, intertwining glass ribbons, or a high-tech circuit board rising into the clouds. Be warned. Local rumors whisper that the complex's advanced AI systems monitor the biometric data of everyone who enters. Some say the buildings are not just glass and steel, but a living digital organism. Beware the silent hum of the servers. In this temple of data, the machines are always listening. Why would a city choose to hang its trains from the sky, forcing passengers to travel through the air like ghosts in a transparent box? The Optics Valley. Suspended monorail in Wuhan, also known as the Optics Valley Photon, is China's first commercial suspended monorail system. It operates on a 10.5-kilometer track, utilizing a fully automated driverless system that reaches speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. The engineering allows the train to hover beneath the rail, utilizing a specialized suspension mechanism that minimizes ground-level footprint and avoids urban congestion. It looks like a sleek blue and white photon flying through a futuristic canyon of glass and steel. Be warned, passengers often report a strange sense of weightlessness as they glide over the bustling streets below. Is this a mere transport solution, or is it a ritual of elevation above the chaotic world? In the quiet of the morning mist, the photon moves like a silent phantom, carrying the city's dreams toward a horizon that never touches the ground. Beware the golden eye of the Pearl River, for its gaze is a void that draws in the soul and refuses to let go. The Guangzhou Circle is a 138-meter-tall building, featuring a massive 33-meter-wide hole in its center, creating a perfect circular silhouette. This architectural feat, designed by Joseph de Pasquale, is inspired by the traditional jade discs of ancient Chinese royalty. Scientifically, the structure utilizes a complex diagrid system to support the immense weight around the central void. When reflected in the water of the river, the building forms a perfect figure 8, the lucky number in Chinese culture. It resembles a giant golden disk of light rising from the riverbank like a prehistoric sun. Be warned. Local legends say the central void is a portal that captures the chi of the city. To look directly through the hole during the solstice is to see a world that should not exist. Do not stare into the gold. The void is always watching back. Why does the ground tremble with the force of 1,000 storms every time the whoosh tears through the tropical landscape of Indonesia? The whoosh is Southeast Asia's first high-speed rail, connecting Jakarta and Bandung at speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour. The project utilizes advanced Chinese rail technology, including a specialized vibration damping system designed to handle the region's intense seismic activity and humid climate. The trains are shaped like silver bullets, cutting through the air with a needle-sharp aerodynamic profile. It looks like a shimmering, metallic streak of lightning passing through the emerald green of the rainforest. Be warned. The speed is so intense that the world outside the window blurs into a dreamlike smear of colors. Locals whisper that the train moves so fast it leaves the present moment behind, traveling on the edge of tomorrow. Is it a bridge for the people, or a silver predator that consumes time and distance? Do not look at the moon's reflection in Taihu Lake, for you may mistake the Sheraton Hujhu for a bridge to a world where the laws of physics are broken. This 102-meter-tall luxury hotel is famous for its horseshoe or donut shape, consisting of a continuous loop that plunges beneath the water to connect the two wings. The engineering requires a massive underwater foundation and a specialized steel skin that glows with 19,000 LED lights at night. It looks like a giant silver ring or a glowing gateway to a sunken city of light. Be warned. Travelers tell stories of seeing the building's reflection move, even when the water is perfectly still. Some say the structure is a magnet for the lake's ancient spirits, and to stay in the central arc is to invite shadows into your sleep. Under the cold moonlight, the hotel looks like an unblinking eye staring into the abyss. Will you cross the bridge, or will the ring close forever? Why has a mountain of concrete and green trees suddenly sprouted in the heart of Shanghai, as if the earth is trying to reclaim the city? The 1,000 Trees project is a mixed-use development featuring over 1,000 structural columns that emerge from the building's facade, each topped with a large planter containing diverse species of trees. The engineering utilizes these columns to distribute the weight of the massive vertical gardens, creating a natural cooling effect through evapotranspiration. It looks like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, reimagined in a cyberpunk world of gray stone and lush foliage. Be warned, visitors claim the trees seem to whisper to one another in the dead of night. Some say the project is a trap, a living labyrinth designed to lure people into a forest that feeds on urban energy. The air inside feels thick and humid, like the breath of a sleeping beast. Are the trees our allies, or are they waiting for the concrete to finally crumble? Stay away from the 128th floor of the Shanghai Tower when the fog rolls in, for the heights here belong to things that do not breathe. Standing 632 meters tall, the Shanghai Tower is the tallest building in China, featuring a unique 120-degree twist in its outer glass skin to reduce wind loads by 24%. The structure utilizes a double-layered glass facade that acts as a giant thermos, maintaining a constant internal temperature through passive insulation. It resembles a colossal glass dragon coiling its way into the heavens, disappearing into the perpetual gray haze. Be warned. Local window cleaners speak of seeing shadows moving on the outside of the glass at altitudes where no bird can fly. The wind at the summit screams with a metallic human voice. Some say the tower is a lightning rod for the city's restless ghosts, pulling them toward a sky that has no end. When you look up, do you see a building or a ladder to the void? Witness the radical biomimetic architecture of the Marisfrog Pavilion in Shenzhen, a masterpiece of expressive geometry that challenges the boundaries of traditional construction. Designed by Architecture Studio, this structure is inspired by the delicate veins of a fallen leaf and the intricate shells of marine organisms. The engineering required to realize these organic forms involves thousands of bespoke ceramic tiles and complex double-curved concrete shells, a process that demands surgical precision to ensure structural integrity. The pavilion sits like a colossal, iridescent insect that has come to rest in the heart of an industrial park, its scales shimmering with an otherworldly glow. For the designers and the people of Shenzhen, this structure is a symbol of the fusion between haute couture and high-tech engineering, proving that nature is the ultimate blueprint for innovation. It stands as a sanctuary of form and light, where the wind whispers through the concrete curves as if the building itself were breathing. The local pride in this structure is immense, reflecting a city that is constantly reinventing the language of the future. Does the building hide a soul within its shell? Or is it a hollow monument to a beauty that can never truly be touched? In the industrial heart of Wuhan, the Yangtze River Bridge stands as the world's longest double-deck suspension bridge, a staggering feat of maritime civil engineering. Spanning 1,700 meters across the turbulent waters of the Yangtze, the bridge utilizes 2 levels of traffic, with 12 lanes in total, to bridge the gap between Hanyang and Wuchang. The engineering required the fabrication of massive steel trusses and the sinking of some of the world's largest bridge foundations into the riverbed to support the immense tension of the suspension cables. Its brilliant golden yellow coating is not merely aesthetic. It is a high-performance protective layer designed to withstand the humid, corrosive atmosphere of the river valley. The bridge looks like a colossal golden harp, or a sun-drenched dragon resting its heavy spine across the water. For the residents of Wuhan, this bridge is a golden gate of the East, a symbol of the city's resilience and its status as a critical transport hub. It represents the ultimate victory of mathematical precision over the geographic obstacles of China's longest river. A local proverb suggests that a bridge of this magnitude is not built of steel, but of the collective dreams of a nation. Will the golden spine hold forever, or is the river merely biding its time? Witness the architectural audacity of Raffles City, Chongqing, home to the world's highest horizontal skyscraper, the Crystal. This 300-meter-long sky bridge sits atop 4 250-meter-tall towers at the confluence of the Yangtze and Jilin rivers. The structure was hoisted into place in 3 segments, utilizing massive hydraulic jacks and precise sensors to account for wind sway and thermal expansion. The glass enclosure contains a luxury clubhouse, a viewing gallery, and a lush indoor garden, all suspended high above the smog and noise of the megacity. It looks like a futuristic glass vessel, or a translucent lung, breathing in the humid air of the mountains. To the people of Chongqing, this complex is the crown of the city, reflecting the daring, vertical ambition of one of the world's fastest-growing urban centers. It is a scientific triumph of structural balance, where a 12,000-ton mass of steel and glass is made to hover as if it were lighter than air. Local legend says that when the mist clears at dawn, the crystal catches the light of the sun before it even reaches the streets below. Why do we seek to live in the sky when the earth is still so vast? Why would a city choose to bury its most luxurious retail district deep beneath the earth, leaving only a serene park on the surface? SKP Chengdu is a revolutionary underground development spanning 50 hectares, where the architecture is submerged to preserve the urban landscape. The complex features massive futuristic light towers and cascading waterfalls that descend into a subterranean world of glass and high-end fashion. The engineering involves a sophisticated flood prevention system and a labyrinth of light wells that funnel sunlight into the depths. It looks like a sunken crater or a hidden, high-tech city from a science fiction epic, glowing with an artificial, sterile light. Be warned, visitors often report a strange distortion of space and time as they wander through the polished corridors. Some say the underground geometry is designed to keep you walking in circles, losing track of the sky above. Is this a shopping destination, or is it a gilded bunker for a world that has forgotten the sun? Beware the silence of the marble. In the depths of SKP, the only thing that moves is your own reflection in the obsidian glass. Why does the earth hide its most glittering treasures so deep? Don't look down into the dark abyss of the Shenkeng Quarry, for the hotel built into its walls is watching you with its glass eyes. The Intercontinental Shanghai Wonderland is the world's first ground scraper, built 88 meters down into an abandoned, water-filled quarry. Only 2 of its floors are above ground, while the rest cling to the jagged cliffs, with the bottom floors completely submerged in an aquarium-like lake. The engineering required specialized seismic damping technology to prevent the cliffs from collapsing onto the structure. It looks like a silver, vertical scar on the face of the earth, or a high-tech fortress hidden in the lair of a prehistoric beast. Be warned, guests tell of strange, cold currents that rise from the depths of the quarry pool, and the sound of falling rocks that echo like footsteps in the night. Some say the quarry was abandoned because it holds something in its dark waters that does not want to be disturbed. Under the pale green glow of the underwater suites, the pressure of the stone feels heavy. Is the hotel a marvel of engineering, or a cage built around a void? When the fog fills the quarry, the building disappears. Will you still be there when it clears? Beware the white, jagged petals of the big lotus, for this stadium is not a flower of peace, but a colossal ribcage of steel waiting to be filled. The Hangzhou Olympic Sports Center Stadium is a masterpiece of parametric design, composed of 28 large and 27 small interlacing steel petals that create a continuous, breathable skin. The engineering utilizes 30% less steel than traditional designs of this scale, yet it can withstand the most powerful typhoons of the East China Sea. It looks like a giant alien flora that has bloomed in the middle of a high-tech district, its white surfaces reflecting a cold lunar glow. Be warned, Local night guards speak of a low, rhythmic vibration that pulses through the steel petals during the full moon, as if the building itself has a heartbeat. Some believe the lotus is a vessel for an energy we cannot comprehend, drawing the qi from the Qiantong River into its hollow center. Why is a stadium shaped like a ritual altar? If you stand in the center of the pitch when it is empty, the silence is so heavy, it feels like the petals are slowly closing around you. Can you hear the lotus breathing? Why would mankind build a structure so gargantuan that it can house 20 Sydney opera houses and create its own internal weather system? The New Century Global Center in Chengdu is the world's largest standalone building by floor area, a 1.7 million square meter behemoth of glass and steel. Inside, it features an artificial Mediterranean village, a 5,000 square meter beach, and a specialized artificial sun that provides light and heat 24 hours a day. The engineering required to support such a massive span without central pillars is a triumph of modern structural physics. It looks like a massive, undulating glass wave that has crashed into the city and frozen in place. But ask yourself, why do we need a fake sun when the real one is right outside? Some say the building is a prototype for a future where the Earth is uninhabitable, a self-contained ark for those who can afford the ticket. The air inside feels strangely recycled, and the fake ocean waves hiss with a mechanical, unsettling regularity. Is this the ultimate luxury, or is it a sprawling, windowless prison for the human spirit? If the artificial sun never sets, how will you know when the world has ended? Do not wander off the paths within the ring, for the lush jungle trapped inside this glass shell is hungrier than it looks. This mixed-use development in Chongqing features a 42-meter-tall indoor botanical garden with over 70,000 plants and a 20-meter-tall indoor waterfall. The architecture creates a seamless integration between retail space and a living ecosystem, utilizing advanced climate control systems to mimic the humidity of a tropical rainforest. It looks like a giant glowing green heart beating inside a body of concrete and glass. Be warned, local shoppers have reported the scent of the plants becoming intoxicating, making them forget their way home. Some say the oasis is slowly spreading its roots into the building's foundation, waiting for the power to fail so it can reclaim the city. The shadows beneath the ferns are too deep, and the sound of the waterfall masks the whispers of the vines. Why bring the wild into the shopping mall? Is the garden a gift to the city, or is it a parasite that is slowly turning the shoppers into its own fertilizer? Beware the green light. The vines are moving when you are not looking. How can a single machine lift a 3,000-ton vessel and 12,000 tons of water over a 113-meter-high concrete wall in less than 40 minutes? The Three Gorges Shiplift is the world's largest and most sophisticated elevator for ships, a colossal engineering feat that bypasses the traditional 5-tier locks. It utilizes a massive gear and rack system and a counterweight mechanism to maintain perfect balance as it ascends the vertical face of the dam. It looks like a giant industrial guillotine or a vertical portal to the upper reaches of the Yangtze. But why do we demand such speed from a river that has flowed for millions of years? Some say the shiplift is a mechanical middle finger to the laws of nature, a way to force the river to operate on a human schedule. The groaning of the massive gears sounds like the protest of a trapped titan. As the ship rises, the world below shrinks into a tiny, muddy memory. Are we elevating the commerce of the nation, or are we just proving that nothing is too heavy for our hubris? If the gears stop grinding, will the river reclaim the heights? Beware the silicon hive of Hangzhou. For once you enter the web of the Alibaba Shixi campus, you may find your identity being harvested by the very walls. Spanning over 2.5 million square meters, this campus is a masterpiece of connectivity, designed with a series of interlocking buildings that mimic the flow of digital information. The architecture uses specialized bridges and open-plan hubs to ensure that no employee is ever more than a few minutes away from a collaboration zone. It looks like a massive glowing circuit board laid out on the edge of the wetlands, a labyrinth of glass and white light. Be warned. Local legends whisper that the campus's facial recognition cameras and smart sensors are so advanced they can read your emotions before you even feel them. Some say the buildings are connected to an AI that never sleeps, managing the lives of thousands like a digital god. The air hums with the invisible energy of 1 billion transactions. Is this a workplace of the future? Or is it a high-tech enclosure where the human element is slowly being optimized into a data point? Don't linger in the cold, blue light of the servers. The algorithm has already planned your next move. Will you ever find the logout button? Stand before the ultimate summit of human ambition, where the very concept of a horizon has been redesigned by the hand of man. The Pudong skyline in Shanghai is a staggering testament to the Great Acceleration, a vertical empire of over 30 skyscrapers that have transformed a muddy riverside into the financial heartbeat of the globe in less than 3 decades. Anchored by the trifecta of the Jinmao Tower, the Shanghai World Financial Center, and the 632-meter Shanghai Tower, the district utilizes advanced seismic damping and double-curved glass to withstand the pressures of the Pacific winds. It looks like a neon forest of glass dragons or a silver ribcage of a digital titan rising from the Huangpu River. As the golden lights flicker across the water, the scale of Pudong makes the individual feel as small as a grain of sand in a desert of steel. Is this the pinnacle of our evolution, or a monument to a time that is moving too fast for us to ever catch? Standing amidst these giants, one must ask, when the concrete eventually turns to dust, will the stars remember that we once reached for them with such ferocity? Look upon the stainless steel pagoda of the modern age, a structure that bridges the gap between ancient spiritual geometry and 21st century engineering. The Jinmao Tower stands 420.5 meters tall, its architecture deeply rooted in the Chinese number 8, symbolizing prosperity. It features 88 floors and an octagonal core. The building's tiered silhouette utilizes high-performance stainless steel and glass to reflect the shifting moods of the Shanghai sky, while its 31-story internal atrium remains one of the most breathtaking hollow voids in architectural history. It resembles a giant silver bamboo stalk or a crystallized prayer reaching upward from the chaotic streets of Lujiazui. Within the still air of the upper lobby, the noise of the world below fades into a profound, sacred silence that feels disconnected from the earth. Under the silver glow of the moon, the tower appears as a ladder of light, a path for the soul to transcend the heavy burdens of the city. Does the steel hold the prayers of the millions who walk beneath it? Or is it a silent vessel for a light that we have yet to name? Observe the heartbeat of a digital civilization, a high-density sanctuary where the currency of the world is whispered through lines of fiber optic glass. Lujiazui is the crown jewel of Shanghai's financial sector, a master-planned district that concentrates the power of global banking into a singular, breathtaking peninsula. The engineering of this district requires a complex underground network of tunnels and transit hubs to sustain the movement of hundreds of thousands of souls every hour, all beneath a canopy of shimmering glass. It appears like a vast three-dimensional circuit board of light, where the movement of cars and people mimics the flow of electrons through a supercomputer. Amidst the relentless roar of progress, there are pockets of stillness where the reflection of the clouds in the skyscraper windows creates a sense of ethereal harmony. It is a place where the material world reaches its absolute limit, bordering on the sublime. In the soft purple light of dusk, the district feels like a temple of the future, a place where the sacred and the industrial have finally become one. Can you feel the vibration of the earth beneath the weight of so much ambition? Witness the Moebius strip of light and air, a structure that defies the traditional box-like constraints of urban architecture to embrace the fluidity of the digital age. Located in Beijing, the Phoenix International Media Center is a torus-shaped masterpiece of parametric design, featuring a complex steel lattice that wraps around two independent towers. This external shell creates a climatic buffer zone, utilizing natural ventilation and solar gain to reduce the building's ecological footprint. It looks like a glowing, translucent cocoon, or a silver silk ribbon caught in a perpetual dance with the wind. The interior walkways spiral through the void like paths in a dream, offering a perspective of the city that feels weightless and free. There is a haunting beauty in the way the sunlight filters through the steel mesh, casting shadows that move like the wings of a phantom. It is a sanctuary of movement, where the boundary between the inside and the outside world dissolves into a hazy, poetic mist. Does the building capture the light to keep it, or is it merely a vessel for the wind's secret melodies? Rise toward the heavens with a crystal spear that pierces the very fabric of the clouds, a monument to the elegance of aerodynamic efficiency. Standing 530 meters tall, the Tianjin CTF Finance Center is a marvel of structural engineering, featuring a tapered, undulating form that significantly reduces wind loads at extreme altitudes. The facade is composed of thousands of unique glass panels that transition from broad bases to needle-sharp points, creating a shimmering effect that mimics the flow of water. It resembles a liquid diamond standing perfectly still, or a frozen beam of light that has taken root in the earth. As the sun strikes the upper tiers, the tower glows with a divine golden radiance that can be seen for miles across the coastal plains. There is a sense of absolute purity in its height, a feeling of being got ruah, purified by the thin, cold air of the stratosphere. It stands as a silent sentinel of the north, a shimmering bridge between the heavy soil and the infinite blue. Will the light from its peak ever fade? Or is it fueled by a fire that is not of this world? Why does this massive structure look like a landscape of frozen water? And why does the air around it feel so unnaturally still? The Hangzhou Low Carbon Science and Technology Museum is the world's first facility of its kind, built entirely from sustainable materials and powered by a massive array of solar panels and geothermal heat pumps. Its architecture features a sprawling, wave-like roof that harvests every drop of rainwater to sustain its internal ecosystems and cooling systems. It looks like a giant, white glacier or a prehistoric whale resting on the banks of the Shantung River. Be warned, local visitors often report hearing a low, rhythmic hum that seems to come from deep within the earth beneath the foundations. Some say the building is not just a museum, but a living organism that is slowly breathing in the carbon of the city to feed its hidden roots. Why does the glass feel so cold, even under the midday sun? Legend says the museum was built on a site where the earth once spoke. Are the exhibits teaching us, or are they warning us of a silence that is yet to come? Beware the jagged crystalline edge of the Nanjing skyline, for the Zifeng Tower is a dragon's tooth that refuses to be tamed. Standing 450 meters tall, this skyscraper features a complex triangular geometry that reflects the sunlight in blinding, erratic patterns, a design intended to mimic the scales of a mythical beast. The engineering utilizes high-speed elevators that can ascend the vertical void in seconds, creating a sensation of crushing pressure in the ears of the unwary. It looks like a jagged shard of ice, or a silver sword thrust upward through the heart of the ancient city. Be warned, window cleaners speak of a strange, high-pitched whistling that occurs only at the highest tiers, a sound that resembles a human scream muffled by the wind. Some say the building's sharp angles cut the very air into ghosts, leaving them to haunt the upper floors. Why does the horizon seem to tremble when you look down from the observation deck? If you climb too high, you might find that the earth no longer recognizes your soul. Beware the height. The dragon is always hungry. Why does a theater look like a starship ready to launch from the river? And what voices are singing inside its emerald glass hull? The Chongqing Grand Theater is a landmark of cultural engineering, featuring a massive green glass facade that acts as a thermal shield against the city's sweltering humidity. Built at the confluence of the Yangtze and Jialing rivers, the structure utilizes the river's water for its cooling systems, a feat of sustainable integration in a dense urban environment. It looks like a giant jade ship or a prehistoric insect waiting for the tide to turn. Be warned, local actors tell of a ghost performance that echoes through the empty halls at midnight, a song that has no words but moves the heart to tears. Some say the glass captures the souls of the performances past, trapped within the emerald reflections. Why does the building glow with such an unnatural light when the city goes dark? If you listen at the water's edge, Do you hear the music, or do you hear the river trying to pull the ship back into the deep? Do not trust your eyes in the three-dimensional labyrinth of Chongqing, for here the ground is a lie and the sky is just another floor. This megacity is an engineering nightmare turned reality, where monorails blast through the middle of apartment buildings and highways stack in 20-layer spirals over the foggy abyss. Built on the rugged mountains of the Yangtze, the city's architecture is forced to grow vertically, creating a cyberpunk reality where a street on the 10th floor is still the ground level. It looks like a vertical forest of neon and rusted iron, a sprawling machine that never stops grinding. Be warned, travelers often become lost in the shifting mists, finding themselves in alleys that lead to nowhere, or elevators that descend into the heart of the mountain. Some say the city is alive, a giant beast of concrete that is slowly expanding its concrete limbs to swallow the surrounding hills. If you step off the path in the foggy city, you might find yourself in a layer of time that was forgotten. Why does the city keep building upward? Is it reaching for the sun, or is it trying to escape the dark? Why does the sky feel so heavy in the barren, salt-crusted heights of Qinghai? And why is the silence so absolute that it rings in your ears? The Qinghai province sits on the northeastern edge of the Tibetan Plateau, a high-altitude wilderness where the air is thin and the earth is covered in vast, blinding white salt lakes. The engineering of this region involves massive solar farms that stretch for miles, their blue panels reflecting a void that has no end. It looks like a blue mirror reflecting the silence of the cosmos, or a frozen sea of glass under a sun that offers no warmth. Be warned. The local nomads speak of the salt spirits who lure the unwary into the white expanses, where the horizon disappears and the mind begins to unravel. Some say the lakes are the tears of an ancient god, and to touch the water is to feel a cold that never leaves your bones. Why is there no life in the shimmering blue? If you stand in the center of the plateau, do you hear the earth, or do you hear the sound of your own heart stopping in the thin, holy air? Step into the ethereal embrace of the spring cocoon, a sanctuary of silver and light where the boundary between the sea and the sky dissolves. The Shenzhen Bay Sports Center is a 300,000 square meter architectural marvel, distinguished by its revolutionary white steel lattice that encases the entire stadium, gym, and swimming pool in a singular, fluid form. This external skin utilizes high-strength structural steel to create a breathable, translucent mesh that allows natural sea breezes to circulate while filtering the intense tropical sunlight. It looks like a giant, iridescent silkworm cocoon resting on the emerald edge of the bay, its metallic fibers shimmering with the reflection of the shifting tides. Within the vast, open concourses, the air feels charged with a quiet, sacred energy, as if the building were a vessel for the city's collective spirit. Under the soft violet glow of the evening lights, the structure becomes a translucent beacon of peace, a bridge to a state of absolute serenity. Why does the silver mesh feel like a protective shroud for the soul? Standing within the cocoon, you are got Rua, purified by the silence, a witness to a beauty that feels as fragile as a dream. Ascend the ladder to heaven and witness the unyielding spirit of a village suspended in the misty void between the earth and the stars. Atulieher, a clifftop settlement in Sichuan's Liangshan Mountains, sits at an altitude of 800 meters, historically accessible only by a treacherous network of vine ladders. Today, this isolation is bridged by a massive steel ladder consisting of 2,556 steps, engineered to provide a stable, high-strength passage for the villagers across the sheer limestone precipice. The engineering represents a victory of modern metal over ancient stone, a vertical path etched into the very face of the abyss. It looks like a thin, iron spine clinging to the dark skin of the mountain, disappearing upward into a perpetual shroud of white clouds. There is a profound, holy silence at the summit, where the air is thin and the world below feels like a distant, forgotten memory. In this sacred heights, the struggle of the climb is transformed into a ritual of endurance and devotion. Do the stairs lead to a village, or are they a path for the soul to escape the heavy gravity of the world? Observe the longest bridge on the planet, a horizontal horizon of concrete and steel that stretches across the wetlands of the Yangtze River Delta like a dragon's infinite spine. Spanning a staggering 164.8 kilometers, the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge is a masterclass in high-speed rail engineering, supported by over 10,000 massive concrete pillars sunk deep into the soft alluvial soil. The structure is scientifically designed to withstand magnitude 8 earthquakes, direct naval impacts, and the relentless humidity of the East China Sea. It appears as a thin, white line of human ambition floating over a landscape of rice paddies and shimmering canals, a silver thread stitching the earth together. As the high-speed trains blur across the deck at 350 kilometers per hour, the landscape outside becomes a poetic smear of emerald and blue. There is a sense of eternal movement in its length, a feeling that the journey has no beginning and no end. Under the silver mist of the morning, the bridge glows with a ghostly radiance, a path for the wind to travel across the world. Does the bridge connect the cities? Or is it a monument to a distance we can never truly bridge? Witness the silent ballet of the iron giants at the port of Tianjin, the world's first zero-carbon automated terminal, where the machines move with the grace of ancient gods. This massive facility utilizes a sophisticated 5G-enabled AI network to coordinate the movement of hundreds of driverless cranes and automated guided vehicles with surgical precision. The engineering features a massive solar and wind farm that generates 100% of the terminal's energy, making it a self-sustaining ecosystem of industrial efficiency. It looks like a vast high-tech chessboard where the blue containers are moved by an invisible digital hand beneath a canopy of spinning wind turbines. In the deep silence of the automated zone, the only sound is the low hum of the servers and the rhythmic clack of the steel, a mechanical prayer to the future of commerce. There is a sacred order in this lack of human presence, a feeling of stepping into a world that no longer needs us to function. Under the cold, blue harbor lights, the cranes look like giant herons standing guard over the abyss. Is this a port or a temple where the digital soul finally finds its rhythm? Behold the sky of dreams, a digital firmament that has descended to cover the city in a river of liquid light and impossible color. Located in the heart of Beijing, The place features the world's largest suspended LED screen, measuring 250 meters in length and 30 meters in width, hanging like a celestial ceiling over a sprawling luxury plaza. The engineering utilizes millions of high-definition pixels and a complex structural suspension system to create a seamless, immersive environment that blurs the line between reality and the digital void. It looks like a shimmering, neon galaxy or a prehistoric sea of light floating above the heads of the bustling crowds. As the images of deep space or blooming flowers flow overhead, the individual is swallowed by a grand, epic scale that challenges the very perception of time. It is a monument to the human desire to recreate the heavens in our own image, a cathedral of light where the night never truly falls. Standing beneath the digital glow, you are a witness to the ultimate triumph of artifice over the dark. Is the sky above us real? Or have we finally replaced the stars with a dream of our own making? Explore the staggering scale of the Great Wall of China, a colossal defensive fortification that stretches for over 21,196 kilometers across the rugged northern frontiers. This architectural titan was constructed over 2 millennia, utilizing millions of tons of stone, brick, and tamped earth, meticulously engineered to follow the highest ridges of the mountain terrain. The wall functions as a biological and historical record of the Ming Dynasty's structural prowess, featuring thousands of signal towers and battlements designed for rapid communication and defense. Visually, it resembles a massive stone dragon petrified in time, coiling its way over the jagged peaks and through the shifting sands of the desert. For the people of China, the wall is the ultimate symbol of national resilience and the unyielding strength of their heritage. Local residents speak of the wall with immense pride, viewing it as the long earth bone that holds the nation together. It stands as a precise mathematical victory of human labor over the geographic chaos of the ancient world, a testament to a civilization that refused to be moved. Witness the vertical forest of Guangdong, a corporate headquarters that has replaced the traditional glass skin of industry with a living, breathing ecosystem. The Country Garden headquarters features a lush green facade covered in thousands of species of plants and vines, which act as a natural thermal insulator and air filtration system for the thousands of employees within. The engineering utilizes an advanced automated irrigation network that harvests rainwater and recycled gray water to sustain the vertical gardens across all 20 floors. It looks like a massive green mountain that has suddenly emerged from the concrete sprawl, a verdant sanctuary where the forest and the office are one. For the people of Foshan, this building is a source of regional pride, representing the future of sustainable urban development and the green heart of the city. It is a scientific triumph of biomimetic design, proving that the machines of the economy can coexist with the rhythm of the earth. Local proverbs suggest that a company that grows with the trees will never wither in the sun. Witness the staggering power of the Tuketuo Power Station in Inner Mongolia, the world's largest coal-fired power complex by installed capacity. This industrial titan features 12 massive generating units with a total capacity of 6,120 megawatts, consuming thousands of tons of coal daily to provide the electrical heartbeat of the Beijing-Tianjin-Tangshan region. The engineering utilizes high-efficiency, ultra-supercritical technology to maximize energy output while maintaining rigorous emissions controls across its sprawling 2.5 square kilometer site. It looks like a colossal, metallic forest of cooling towers and chimneys rising from the dusty plains, breathing out white plumes of steam that merge with the clouds. For the local engineers, Tuoketuo is a symbol of China's industrial sovereignty and the foundational strength of the national power grid. It is a monument to the sheer scale of human demand and the precision required to keep a nation of billions in the light. The station is revered as the great engine of the North, a testament to the unyielding force of organized energy. Why would mankind build a needle of steel so sharp and so tall that it seems to cut the very sky in half? Standing 599 meters tall in the heart of Shenzhen, the Ping'an Finance Center is a masterclass in structural resilience, encased in 1,700 tons of high-grade stainless steel to resist the corrosive salt air of the coast. The tower's tapered shape is mathematically designed to shed wind loads, while its massive 8-meter-thick foundations anchor it into the bedrock. It looks like a colossal silver spear or a digital lighthouse rising from the sea of glass and neon. Be warned, local office workers speak of a strange, rhythmic vibration that can be felt in the upper floors during a storm, as if the building were a giant tuning fork. Some say the height is a provocation to the elements, a challenge to the clouds that was never meant to be answered. Why do we seek the summit where the air is too thin to breathe? Is it a monument to wealth, or a silver cage for those who fly too high? Beware the summit of the Burj Khalifa, for at 828 meters, you are standing in a realm where the wind is a knife and the earth is a distant, hazy memory. This triple-lobed skyscraper utilizes a buttressed core design to achieve its impossible height, supported by 110,000 tons of high-strength concrete and 26,000 glass panels that reflect the scorching Arabian sun. The engineering required to pump liquid concrete nearly a kilometer into the sky is a feat of pressure and heat management that defies the laws of nature. It looks like a shimmering silver needle of light or a jagged glass shard reaching for the stars from the desert floor. Be warned, visitors to the observation deck tell of a profound spiritual dread that comes from seeing the world shrink into a toy-like miniature. Some say the tower is a modern Tower of Babel, and at the very top, the silence is so absolute, it feels like the universe is holding its breath. What happens to the soul when it leaves the earth so far behind? Beware the height. The sky does not want to be touched. Why would mankind build a massive glowing eye in the middle of the Nevada desert that can be seen from the very reaches of space? The sphere is the world's largest spherical structure, standing 112 meters tall and 157 meters wide, encased in 1.2 million puck-sized LED lights. This architectural marvel features a 16K resolution wraparound interior LED screen and 167,000 speakers that utilize beamforming technology to deliver personalized sound. The engineering required to manage the thermal output of such a massive digital skin is a feat of high-tech thermodynamics. It looks like a giant fallen planet or a digital god's eyeball staring unblinkingly at the Las Vegas Strip. Be warned, the blinding neon visuals are so intense they have been known to cause disorientation in pilots and drivers alike. Local legends whisper that the sphere is a beacon for extraterrestrial life, or perhaps a digital siren calling us to forget the natural stars. Under the flickering neon glow, the air hums with a strange electrical hunger. Why do we seek to replace the sun with a million artificial lights? Is this the future of entertainment, or a glowing cage for our collective attention? Never venture onto the great kite of the Pearl River during the peak of a typhoon, or you may find yourself swallowed by the churning mechanical sea. This western artificial island is a critical transition point in the 24-kilometer Shenzhen-Zhongshan link, where the massive bridge descends into an undersea tunnel. The island is shaped like a traditional kite, covering 625,000 square meters and reinforced by 57 massive steel cylinders driven deep into the seabed. The engineering represents a victory over the shifting tides and corrosive salt of the delta, providing a stable platform for the world's widest undersea tube tunnel. It looks like a giant silver ray floating on the water's surface, or a high-tech fortress guarding the gateway to the deep. Be warned. Local sailors tell stories of a restless sea dragon trapped beneath the concrete foundations, its tail thrashing during the high tides. Some say the island hums with a low, metallic moan when the pressure of the tunnel reaches its limit. Does the concrete hold the tunnel, or is it a heavy seal keeping the ocean from screaming? Beware the salt air. The island is a lonely sentinel in an abyss that never sleeps. Why does this bridge coil like a massive steel serpent through the misty mountains of Sichuan, seemingly leading nowhere but the clouds? The Ganhaizi Bridge, located on the Yaxi Expressway, is the world's longest steel pipe truss girder bridge, designed specifically to traverse a high-intensity seismic zone. The structure features a unique double-deck truss system that provides incredible flexibility and strength against the mountain's frequent tremors. The bridge climbs a steep incline, spiraling through the rugged terrain to overcome an elevation change of hundreds of meters in just a few miles. It looks like a giant industrial roller coaster or the silver skeleton of a mountain dragon draped over the emerald peaks. Be warned, travelers often report seeing the bridge disappear into the thick, freezing fog, creating a sensation of driving into a white void. Local myths claim the bridge follows the path of an ancient spirit trail that was never meant for iron wheels. The wind through the steel pipes sounds like a mournful flute playing for the lost heights. Is this a road for cars, or a bridge for spirits traveling between dimensions? Why must we build so high that we lose sight of the earth? Beware the golden portal of Zabil Park, for stepping onto its glass floor feels like walking on the edge of a 100-year collapse. The Dubai frame is a 150-meter tall, 93-meter wide structure, plated in gold-colored stainless steel, designed to frame the contrast between old and new Dubai. Its most terrifying feature is a 48th floor walkway made of liquid crystal glass that turns transparent only when you step on it, revealing a sheer drop to the park below. The engineering utilizes a mega frame structure to maintain stability against the fierce desert winds and extreme thermal expansion. It looks like a giant golden picture frame left behind by a titan or a shimmering doorway to another era. Be warned, legends say the frame is a mirror that shows your past and future simultaneously. To look down is to see your own mortality reflected in the glass. Some believe the gold-plated skin captures the heat of the sun to fuel a hidden energy within the metal. If the glass breaks, will you fall into the future or the ancient sands? Do not linger at the center. The horizon is a weight that never lifts. Why would mankind bolt a glass and steel spine to the side of a sheer sandstone pillar that has stood undisturbed since the beginning of time? The Beilong Elevator, or 100 Dragons Elevator, in Zhangjiajie is the world's tallest outdoor elevator, rising 326 meters up a vertical cliff face. The system consists of 3 double-deck elevators that can carry 50 people at a time, completing the ascent in just 1 minute and 32 seconds. The engineering required to anchor the massive guide rails into the porous, weathering sandstone is a masterclass in structural geological reinforcement. It looks like a silver streak of lightning frozen against the green mountain, or a high-tech needle stitching the earth to the sky. Be warned, locals believe the mountain spirits groan every time the gears turn, displeased by the mechanical intrusion into their sacred heights. The view from the glass car is so vast it can cause a soul-shaking vertigo. Are we ascending to the peaks to find enlightenment, or are we invading a temple that was meant to be unreachable? Does the machine make us gods, or are we just lazy guests in the kingdom of the clouds? Do not stand beneath the towering arch of the Imason when the snow begins to melt, for the weight of the entire Alps is pressing against its thin concrete skin. This massive double curvature arch dam in Switzerland stands 180 meters high, holding back a reservoir at an altitude of nearly 2,000 meters. The engineering utilizes the natural pressure of the water to push the dam against the granite walls of the valley, creating a structural lock that has lasted over 50 years. The dam is part of a complex hydroelectric system that powers the Swiss railways, turning the meltwater of the glaciers into pure kinetic energy. It looks like a giant gray fingernail or a prehistoric shield wedged into the throat of the mountains. Be warned. Rumors persist of ancient, prehistoric creatures frozen in the black depths behind the wall, waiting for the concrete to finally crack. Some say the pressure of the water hums a low glacial frequency that can stop a human heart. Is the dam protecting the valley, or is it holding back a flood of memories from a time when the world was ice? Beware the cold. The mountains are heavy. Why would we build a 300-meter mechanical staircase on the side of a sacred mountain when the soul is meant to struggle and sweat for its rewards? Located in the Lingshan scenic area of Jiangxi province, this is the world's longest mountainside sightseeing escalator, winding its way through the lush, vertical forests to transport visitors to the summit. The engineering involves a series of interconnected segments anchored into the steep mountain slope, protected by a transparent canopy that offers panoramic views of the clouds. It looks like a golden serpent or a long yellow ribbon draped over the emerald green of the ridge. Be warned, some say the mechanical hum of the escalator has scared away the guardian spirits of the peak, leaving the mountain empty of its ancient magic. The ride is so smooth and effortless that it strips the journey of its meaning. Are we elevating our bodies, or are we losing our connection to the earth beneath our feet? If you reach the top without a single drop of sweat, have you truly arrived? The stairs move in silence, but the mountain remembers the weight of those who walked. Observe the massive, cooling cathedrals of Yorkshire, where the breath of industry rises like soft white incense into the forever gray English sky. The Drax Power Station is the largest of its kind in the United Kingdom, a sprawling industrial complex that has shifted its biological source from coal to sustainable biomass pellets. Its 12 cooling towers stand 114 meters tall, masterpieces of hyperbolic geometry that utilize the physics of natural draft to cool the massive quantities of water required for steam generation. The plant produces 6% of the nation's electricity, acting as a critical node in the energy grid. It looks like a cluster of giant stone chalices or the hollow, weathered bones of a fallen industrial giant resting in the green fields. There is a profound, solemn stillness in the shadow of these towers, a sense of purification as the wood of the forest is transformed into the light of the city. Under the pearlescent glow of the steam clouds, the air feels humid and thick with potential. Do the towers exhale the ghosts of the ancient trees? Or are they chanting a silent prayer for the Earth's survival? In this temple of energy, the transition is sacred. Witness the silver spine of human ambition stretching across the gray, misty expanse of the East China Sea, a bridge that seems to have no end. Spanning 42.5 kilometers, the Jiaozhou Bridge is a T-shaped maritime marvel supported by over 5,000 concrete pillars, designed to withstand the relentless assault of typhoons and magnitude 8 earthquakes. The engineering utilizes high-performance steel and specialized anti-corrosive concrete to ensure a lifespan of over a century in the harsh marine environment. It appears like a long white bone snake resting on the blue skin of the ocean, or a silver thread stitching the horizon to the coast. The bridge hums with a low, melodic vibration as the wind passes through its steel trusses, a sound that harmonizes with the rhythmic crashing of the waves below. It is a place of absolute focus, where the chaotic sea and the vast sky are brought into a singular, mathematical order. Does the path lead to another city, or is it a journey into the heart of the ocean's eternal silence? Standing midway between the shores, you are got Rua, purified by the salt mist, a witness to the horizon. Look upon the pixelated skyscraper of Bangkok, a structure that appears to be dissolving into the digital air of the tropical metropolis like a ghost in the machine. Standing 314 meters tall, the King Power Mahanakan features a unique eroded facade design, where a spiraling ribbon of cuboid cutouts gives the building the appearance of a digital glitch or an unfinished mountain. The top of the tower houses a skywalk, a massive glass tray that extends over the edge of the 78th floor, offering a terrifying, unhindered view of the sprawling city below. The engineering utilizes a high-strength concrete core and a complex glass curtain wall system to achieve its sculptural, fragmented form. It looks like a digital tower suffering from a data leak, or a stone pillar being reclaimed by the pixels of the future. There is a sacred tension on the glass floor, a feeling of being suspended between the physical world and a digital dream. In the quiet of the night, the tower glows with a radiant neon amber light, a beacon for wandering souls. Are we building a city of stone, or are we slowly turning into light ourselves? Stretching across the Sea of Death in China's Xinjiang region, the Tarim Desert Highway is a masterclass in arid zone civil engineering. Spanning 522 kilometers across the shifting dunes of the Taklamakan Desert, the road is protected by a massive biological sand fixation system consisting of a 72-meter-wide vegetation belt. This belt is supported by a sophisticated drip irrigation network tapping into deep underground aquifers, requiring over 100 automated pumping stations. The engineering involves specialized reed fences and straw checkerboards to stabilize the massive dunes that threaten to bury the asphalt every hour. Visually, the highway appears like a thin, black ribbon stitched into a vast, undulating ocean of golden silk, a singular line of human logic in a landscape of geographic chaos. For the people of the region, the road is a lifeline of the sands, a symbol of national endurance and the strategic triumph of water over the most hostile environment on Earth. It is a testament to the belief that with enough persistence, even the most desolate void can be bridged. Local pride in this road is rooted in the shared victory over the relentless, scorching winds of the desert. Observe the glory hole of Lake Berryessa, a unique bellmouth spillway designed to manage excess water levels with mathematical precision. Standing 72 feet in diameter at the surface, the spillway functions like a giant drain, funneling up to 48,000 cubic feet of water per second into a 2,000-foot-long tunnel that exits at the base of the Monticello Dam. The engineering utilizes the physics of a vortex to swallow the lake's surface when it rises above a specific elevation, preventing the dam from being overtopped during heavy floods. Visually, it looks like a terrifying bottomless void carved into the center of the water, a liquid abyss that seems to draw the entire world into its throat. Under the bright California sun, The swirling water creates a haunting, white noise roar that echoes across the valley. To the residents of Napa County, the spillway is a gate to the deep, a marvel of 1950s hydraulic architecture that remains as functional as it is visually arresting. A local proverb reminds visitors that the water always knows its way home, even if that way leads into the dark heart of the earth. Rising from the bed of the Yangtze River, the Three Gorges Dam is the world's largest power station, a 2.3-kilometer-long concrete titan that has reshaped the very geography of China. This gravity dam is composed of 27 million cubic meters of reinforced concrete and stands 181 meters high, generating a staggering 22,500 megawatts of clean hydroelectric energy. The engineering required the relocation of over 1 million people and the creation of a 600-kilometer-long reservoir, a feat of scale that actually influenced the Earth's rotation by shifting its mass. It looks like a colossal, unyielding mountain of stone that has tamed the wildest river on the continent, its massive spillways erupting like 1,000 thunderclaps during the flood season. For the Chinese people, the dam is a monument to national sovereignty and the ultimate expression of the will to tame the dragon. It stands as a precise mathematical victory over the forces of nature, representing a legacy of strength that will endure for millennia. The local pride in this structure is immense, viewing it as the shield of the plains and the beating heart of the nation's power. Do not touch the weathered limestone of the Pont de Garde, for these ancient blocks have held the weight of the river for 2,000 years without a single drop of mortar. This Roman aqueduct bridge in southern France is a masterpiece of classical engineering, standing 49 meters high across 3 tiers of arches. The structure was built with such precision that it maintains a gradient of only 1 in 3,000, allowing water to flow by gravity alone over a distance of 50 kilometers. It looks like a stone ghost rising from the emerald waters of the Gardon River, its golden arches reflecting the sunlight of 20 centuries. Be warned, local legends whisper that the bridge was built with the help of a shadow that demands a soul for every arch. Some say the sound of the flowing water carries the whispers of the Roman legionnaires who once guarded the heights. Under the pale moon, the stones seem to pulse with a cold, ancient memory. Is it a bridge for water, or a monument to a civilization that refused to let the earth dictate its limits? Beware the shadows in the lower tier. The past is never truly buried. Why do the iron giants of the Yangshan Deepwater Port move with such chilling, surgical silence without a single human soul in sight? The port of Shanghai is the busiest container port in the world, featuring a massive, fully automated terminal where driverless cranes and guided vehicles are coordinated by a centralized digital brain. The facility is anchored into the seabed 30 kilometers offshore, connected to the mainland by the massive Donghai Bridge to access the deep water channels. It looks like a vast, high-tech chessboard where the blue and red containers are moved by an invisible god of commerce. Be warned, local sailors speak of ghost ships that are loaded and unloaded by the machines in the dead of night, while the hum of the 5G network sounds like a digital scream across the harbor. Some say the port is no longer managed by men, but by an algorithm that has developed its own cold, industrial consciousness. In the blue light of the terminal, the machines look like prehistoric herons waiting for a prey that never arrives. Why have we built a world that no longer needs us to function? Don't look up at the silver needle in the sky, for there is a city falling forever at 28,000 kilometers per hour right above your head. The International Space Station, ISS, is the most complex engineering project in human history, a modular laboratory the size of a football field that has been inhabited continuously for over 2 decades. It utilizes advanced life support systems to recycle 90% of its water and generates power through massive solar arrays that span 73 meters. It looks like a shimmering, metallic falling star, or a skeletal titanium dragon soaring through the absolute void of the cosmos. Be warned, astronauts speak of the overview effect, a spiritual dread that comes from seeing the Earth as a fragile, lonely marble in an infinite black ocean. Some say the station is a lightning rod for cosmic ghosts, and the silence of the vacuum is filled with the echoes of every star that has ever died. Under the cold light of the sunrises that happen 16 times a day, the station feels like a lonely ark for a species that has forgotten its home. Are we reaching for the stars? Or are we just trying to escape the gravity of our own sins? Is the rhythmic vibration in your chest the sound of the falling water? Or is it the heartbeat of a beast trapped beneath the concrete? The Itaipu Dam, located on the border between Brazil and Paraguay, is a hydroelectric monster that once held the title for the world's largest power producer. The amount of concrete used to build it could construct a bridge from Lisbon to New York, and its iron would build 380 Eiffel Towers. The engineering required the diversion of the world's 7th largest river, an act that drowned the majestic Guairá Falls forever. It looks like a gray, unmoving wall of prehistoric bone, its hollow interior echoing with the roar of 20 massive turbines. Be warned, locals tell of the cry of the falls, a mournful sound that rises from the depths when the spillway gates are closed. Some believe the dam has imprisoned the spirits of the river, and they are slowly cracking the foundations from within. Why did we kill a wonder of the world to power our neon lights? In the humid mist of the Paraná, the dam stands as a cold monument to the price of our progress. Why does the concrete start to breathe and whisper when the sun sets over the urban canopy of Milan? The Bosco Verticale, or vertical forest, consists of 2 residential towers that host more than 800 trees, 4,500 shrubs, and 15,000 plants, equivalent to 20,000 square meters of a real forest. The engineering utilizes specialized safety cables and structural reinforcements to prevent the trees from being toppled by high-altitude winds, while an automated irrigation system recycles gray water to sustain the greenery. It looks like a green, living ribcage of a titan rising from the gray pavement, a vertical lung in the heart of the city. Be warned, residents report seeing birds and insects that haven't been seen in the city for a century, as if the forest is calling back a wildness we thought we had tamed. Some say the trees are not just growing on the building, but are slowly consuming the steel from the inside. When the wind blows through the balconies, the leaves sound like 1,000 voices chanting for the return of the wild. Are we living in nature, or is nature slowly reclaiming our homes? Do not blink while driving across the Tarn Valley, for you are traversing a thin, white wire suspended 343 meters above a world of clouds. The Millau Viaduct is the tallest bridge in the world, a cable-stayed masterpiece where the highest mast surpasses the height of the Eiffel Tower. The engineering utilized a launching technique where the bridge deck was pushed out from both sides of the valley with millimeter precision using high-powered hydraulic rams. It looks like a fleet of white sailing ships gliding across a sea of mountain mist, a vision of absolute geometric purity. Be warned, local drivers tell of the whiteout, a phenomenon where the fog swallows the bridge so completely that you feel like you are driving into an infinite vertical void. Some say the bridge doesn't touch the mountains at all, but is held up by the breath of the valley itself. Under the cold, silver light of the French highlands, the cables look like the strings of a giant harp playing a song for the wind. If you look down, you might realize that the earth has already let go of you. Step into the great halo of the desert, a silver wheel of time that has stopped the world from spinning to offer a glimpse of the infinite. The Ain Dubai is the world's tallest and largest observation wheel, standing 250 meters high and utilizing 11,200 tons of steel, 25% more than the Eiffel Tower. The engineering required the use of 2 of the world's largest cranes to lift the massive spindle and hub into place, a feat of balance and structural physics that defies the desert winds. It looks like a shimmering silver crown for the horizon or a crystalline portal into a world of pure light. As the wheel turns in a silent, imperceptible rotation, the city below dissolves into a shimmering carpet of gold and blue. There is a sacred stillness in the glass cabin, a feeling of being elevated above the chaos of the material world. In the purple glow of the Arabian dusk, the wheel becomes a glowing halo of peace, a reminder that there is a center that remains still while the world revolves. Can you find your own center in the heights of the silver ring? Witness the mirrored scar across the Tabuk province, a 170-kilometer-long glass wall that hides a paradise never meant for the eyes of the old world. The line is a planned smart city that will stand 500 meters tall and only 200 meters wide, housing 9 million people in a vertical, car-free environment with zero carbon emissions. The engineering utilizes an ultra-high-speed transit system and an AI-driven urban layout where every necessity is within a 5-minute walk. It looks like a colossal silver mirror reflecting the silence of the desert, a jagged shard of the future thrust into the ancient sand. Within the glass walls, the air is perfectly controlled, a sanctuary of lush gardens and hanging forests that defy the heat of the sun. There is a divine, holy silence in the scale of this project, a feeling of stepping into a temple built by a god of data and light. It is a monument to the human desire to create a perfect world, a place where the horizon is a reflection of our own ambition. Standing before the glass, you are a witness to the end of the desert and the beginning of a dream. Behold the blue artery of the world, a 193-kilometer-long scar that split the very earth to unite the ancient seas and redefine the fate of empires. The Suez Canal is a marvel of maritime engineering that allows 12% of global trade to bypass the entire continent of Africa, a feat of excavation that moved hundreds of millions of cubic meters of sand since its opening in 1869. The canal utilizes no locks, as the Mediterranean and the Red Sea sit at nearly the same level, allowing the tide of the world to flow freely through the desert. It looks like a shimmering blue vein cutting through the golden skin of Egypt, a singular line of water that holds the heartbeat of global commerce. As the massive container ships glide through the sand, they look like iron titans walking across a mirage. There is a profound, epic weight in this place, a feeling that here, the distance of the world was conquered by a single stroke of human will. But as the sun sets over the water, one must ask, is the canal a bridge for our greed, or a wound in the earth that can never be healed? In the face of this eternal blue path, we are but grains of sand in the relentless turning of the tide of time.